time I did this, you started as soon as the call started and just didn't tell me.
Yeah, I've clicked start now.
Oh.
Well, welcome to episode 69 of Tech of a T. Haha, funny meme number episode. This episode, I thought it'd be funny to bring HexDSL. I don't know why.
What? Okay. So
I think you could just play along with the joke. That's why.
No, I've got a sex joke.
Mm.
I'll bring HexDSL. How does that make me feel? How does that make me feel?
I think you're going to enjoy it.
And the correct thing to do would be to turn my video upside down so we are 69ing the whole time the podcast is running. I want to see that when I watch this video on YouTube. Right. I want to find out that at the start of the cast, I'm upside down. Okay. And then we make the 69 joke. And... Disappointing.
Well, I can go and edit it right now if you'd like. We can start again if you really want to.
Sounds like you know my policy on effort. You know how against effort I am.
You're right, but then you're asking me to do something in post. That's not happening.
Okay, dear audience, right? There's already more people watching this that watch any of my videos, right? So just imagine, I want you to imagine, up until he said 69, my face was rotated, right? Just imagine that. Now take a moment to laugh, and now we move on. Done.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. I assume you're stirring tea, but it does look like you're wanking right now. You know that, right? You're aware of that.
Well, fits perfectly with the theme then.
Because I'm just like, all right, how you doing? 69 jokes, yeah. So just, yeah. Okay.
Now you realize why you're here, because you can play along with the joke perfectly.
Play along with the joke if you're just wanking while we do a podcast. That's not a joke. That's sexual assault, and I'm not okay with it.
Yeah, a little bit. How you been, man?
I've been excellent. I've since the last time we spoke, which you know what's really bad, right? I don't remember how long ago it was. It could have been 10 years or 3 days. I literally I'm like a dog. I never know how much time has passed.
I know it was before the Christmas video you did, so it's got to be at least 6 months.
That's right, because I invited you to the Christmas video, and you was like, "No, dude, I'm too famous."
That's not what happened.
No, that was exactly what happened. I could show you the DM. You went 10,000 subscribers. No, thank you.
Before you keep slandering my name, I didn't do it because I hadn't played many games that came out that year, and I didn't think I had anything to really say for it. This year I will do it if you're going to do it again. I do it every year, right? But you know what's really... I didn't talk about this last time, right? I don't think I talked about this. I don't remember what I talked about. I just said I'm a dog, basically, right? But and also, if there's a hum in the background, that's my air conditioning. You can have to live with it because I'm not turning it off. I can't hear it myself, so it's probably fine. I tried to balance my mic in a position where my body blocks the flow of air, so hopefully no one can hear it. But anyway, I'm just not turning it off. Nah, fair enough, man. It's like 11 degrees or something. I'm going to melt. It's British summer, 11 degrees in rain. So that Christmas video, right? I do every year. For those of you who don't know, every year I make a video where I invite anyone I've been talking to, like anyone that's on my radar. I invite them to send a 1 minute or 30-second segment. I don't remember what I said last year. Just a little video to go like, "Oh, this is a game I played this year. It's Linux. I'm this person." The idea was it was to promote, so everyone could self-promote as well as showing that we're not like YouTubers. I don't like the word YouTube, but people who make Linux videos, we're not in competition, right? Like the idea was to show, just to show that we're all like, there's no rivalry here. And over the years, it's just been harder and harder to get people to do it because one of the things I've learned is people that make YouTube videos very egocentric and not very reliable. So every year I'm like, "You want to do this?" They're like, "No, man, I'm too busy for that." No. I hope I'm not the first one, but I can definitely attest to the second.
It's like, yeah, it's just like. It's a shame because it would be cool if every year we could get like a video that's really long. It's just all the people in the Linux space making videos, but that's not happening. Just not happening. What I'm doing this year, because this last year that went was like kind of the final straw in it, where I'm like, what I'm doing now is I'm sending people one email or one DM with like, here's the video, here's the document that explains the criteria. This is it. You either do it or don't. I'm not this year. I'm not because what I do usually is every couple of weeks, because I start off in like November, and then about every 2 weeks I'm like, "Yo, dude, don't forget the video. Yo, dude, don't forget the video."
Yeah.
And
that's a lot of effort.
Everyone forgets the video. Just all of them just don't bother. Or then people go a week after I've done the video, someone goes, "Hey man, I did my segment." I'm like, "No, you know, dude, you know." So yeah, this year I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna be like, "There's your video." Like, if it turns out to be just me, Drew, and Chris, whatever. Fine with that. That's absolutely fine.
I promise I'll do it this year. You have my word. It's 6 months early, but we hopefully won't forget.
This is where I get an email from Brodie, right? It's just like, I did my video, and it's like, it's July. And I'm like,
Christmas, July, man. Christmas, July. Yeah. How about I send it to you next week? That'll work.
I mean, you know what?
And you'll forget about it,
right? I'll save it, and I'll have the video great. You go, where's my video, dude? And I'm like, you never sent it to. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, considering that I sent you the Jitsi link, you just couldn't find it.
Yeah, no. Before we started this call, he sent me the Jitsi link, and I was pasting pictures of me dressed as ET into chat, and I was like, "Where's the link?" And he's like, "I sent it." I was like, "Where?" And he's like, "Before all the shit you posted." And I was like, "Oh, right, that's on me. That is on me."
I wasn't helping out. I was starting to post stuff as well. I've got so much in here that I could post. How much is my fan art folder? Too much. Honestly, too much. Some of it's really bad as well. I don't know if I want to show some of it. Like, it's that bad.
Yeah, you see mine. I've got my favorite one is the GIF you've got, so you can show that.
I can.
The GIF where someone like Arch Toasty was like, I'm reimagining Hex as Sailor Moon, but like he did an entire animation for it and stuff, and that was like, I was just like, that. Thank you. I think.
I think that's a thing you're supposed to be thankful for. Yeah, sure, why not? Oh no, like, now your face is the wrong thing.
He's also done this. Like, he's also.
That's on the wrong screen. That will be why. Everything broke.
Okay. Hey, everybody on HexDSL. I break everything.
No, that was my fault. There we go. Wait, that's why it broke. I closed my browser.
I like how I know you don't edit, so all this is in the show.
Oh, absolutely.
When you go on YouTube, it's just like and like for good 15 minutes. It's like, yeah, done.
Yeah, man, why would I edit? What's the point of that?
What you want to do is what I've got really good. The record pause button inside OBS, right? I've just got a key binding for the pause button. So when when I'm doing like the Trendy Talk podcast, I just like hold down the button while something's happening. I just like, there you go, editing, done. It's fine.
Yeah, that's too much for me. I'll just forget to like restart it.
No, man, I respect the shit out of that. It's great. It's fine.
Now you don't know how bad I am actually recording videos. I just restart the recording every time I make a mistake, like when I'm just doing regular videos.
Actually, I like, joking aside, I think I used to do that, and I think it's really useful to learn to be more confident and not to add like in your dialogue, and just instead of doing that, you learn to just be the fucking quiet for a moment. Or what I do, which is just talk incessantly and monologue your fuck ups as if that helps somehow, which is what I've tend to do in my videos. So, I do think forcing yourself to re-record and forcing yourself to do a better job is healthy. It's good, useful.
I don't usually do like ums and ahs. My main problem is that I
you do it right now.
I typically stumble over my words and the sentence just makes no sense.
I always like to throw a lampshade in that. So I'll start talking, it'll go wrong. I'll just look at the camera and be like, that wasn't English. I'll just do it again. I leave it all in as well. I'm just like, it's fine.
Yeah, fair enough. Maybe that would work. I should probably try it out at some point. I've just been doing this style since basically when I started, with the exception of my really early stuff when I'm making videos in the shed. But apart from that, everything else I've been doing like this sort of like jump cut editing style that everyone sort of does on YouTube.
Yeah, I don't like my. I mean, when it comes to styles, I like styles. My style is I find something I want to talk about and I hit record, and then when I'm bored of talking, I stop, and that is my method.
Yeah,
that is
fair
the
enough.
Hex method. There's nothing to it, which is probably why I've only got 4 subscribers. Probably the reason.
Oh, congrats on 10K, by the way.
Yeah, 10K. Now I'm grateful for all the people that subscribed, and I'm surprised and humbled by the fact that 10,000 people want to listen to me talk shit on a bi-daily basis. But at the same time, given the length of time I've been on YouTube, that is not very many at all.
You've been doing it for a very long time, haven't you?
Yeah, I've been doing it for like a long time, but I've never chased subscribers or done the grind, the YouTube grind, because I don't like. For me, it's a hobby, and I know I'm never going to make money out of it. I'm never going to retire on my YouTube money, right? So I'd rather just make content that I like making, and because of that, it means that I grow very slowly. But the audience I have, I feel like the audience I have tend to stay, and they tend to be loyal is the wrong word because they don't owe me anything. There's no loyalty, bro. But they tend to get me and want to hang out, and that's good. But it would be nice to occasionally go, holy shit, I got 3,000 subscribers today. Which
yeah, that would be cool, but I do respect that. I think it's partially due to the fact that you're just always available to talk as well. You don't sort of put yourself above your audience.
I'm just like, hey guys, just come hang out in Discord. They're like, we don't like Discord. I'm like, well, that's where I am. Sorry.
Yeah, fair enough.
Sorry. Email me.
But there's a lot of people out there who have like community Discords, and they'll be moderating it, and they just never talk in it.
I mean, I'm always just an hour away in my Discord. I mean, I live in Discord. I keep it on my phone, and it's on my PC, on my laptop. I'm always just an hour away from it. And if ever I don't reply, it's just because I'm busy. It's like, but I'll always get back to people. And yeah, I think part of that comes from having less subscribers as well. Because if I had a Discord, if I was really successful on YouTube and had 1 million subscribers, I would have to run my Discord differently because, of course, I would, because there'd be too many people there. So there are benefits to being a small fish. There are benefits to not growing too fast and growing very slowly and organically. I think that I'm grateful that people are interested in the shit I'm saying, because I'm not qualified to give people insight into anything really.
Look, if anyone's qualified to talk about games on Linux, I think you are. You've been doing it for a very long time.
Yeah.
But it's not like there's, as you said last time you're on here, there's not much to really say anymore. It's just like, it works.
Linux game is dead. Linux game is not a thing. It works, or it doesn't work, and then that's the whole conversation. Or my more recent one is it doesn't work. Here's GeForce Now. It solves all your problems. That's it. That's the whole conversation.
I think the worst problem I've had with the game I've played is I was playing the HD remake of Ty the Tasmanian Tiger. Very good game. Highly recommend it. And for some reason...
that doesn't sound like that sounds like a made-up game. What is
Ty the Tasmanian Tiger?
Tasmanian... T-A-Z?
T-A-S. It's a very real game. It's made by an Australian studio. I highly recommend just listening to some of the audio. Actually, you know what? I'm going to bring some of it up. Tasmanian Tiger trailer. Sure, why not? It is a very real game. You going to play an ad, YouTube? Please don't play an ad. Good, yes.
I found the trailer. On Steam.
You're going to show me some of the audio of the characters? That's very important. Everyone in this game... Okay, I can't find some of the characters talking. Every character in this game has the most, stereotypical Australian accent you can just picture in your mind. I
mean, this game looks fucking terrible, mate.
It's a PS2 game. Came out in 2002.
I mean, I'm glad you said that, because Steam says 2016. I'm like...
Yeah, no. Chrome has only ever made one successful game, and they just re-released it on new consoles.
Also, don't forget you can get Ty the Tasmanian Tiger 2, 3, 4. Yeah?
Yes, so... you don't want 4. 4 is not very good.
I don't believe any of them are good. No, 4 looks alright though. It looks like Rayman.
It came out when what's the word? Mascot platforms were really popular, so around the Rayman, Ratchet and Clank sort of time.
Yeah, those Mascot platforms always confuse me, because none of these things was ever mascots before the game. And I'm like, Cool Spot made sense because he was advertising drinks before he was in a game.
Sure.
And then they was like, we can just make a mascot and print it. He's like, that's not how that works.
Banjo and Kazooie. Just definitely. Everyone knew about these characters beforehand, for sure. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know. I like mascot platforms partially because of the fact that I just like platformers, even though a lot of them are a bit jank.
I like platformers and things I like in theory. In my head, I like platformers, but then when I play them, I'm like, oh, I'm so bored. I'm so bored. But in my head, I'm like, yeah, platformers, it's fun, But then, no, I don't. But I think I do, and that's enough to keep buying them, because in my brain, I'm like, yeah, it's great. It's not.
Is this just with the general sort of platform, or if you have something like Super Meat Boy level, just?
Super Meat. I mean, I like more casual platformers. Right? I say I like. Again, it's in my head I like them. In reality, I hate them. I don't want to play them. But in my head, I like them. But the ones with the high difficulty, the super high ones like VVV, Super Meat Boy, and even Mario Maker. I'm like, I know. I'm smart enough to know that I wouldn't enjoy those, because for me, games are never really, there are exceptions, but for the most part, games aren't about the challenge. They're about the enjoyment. They're about the basking in the world. They're not about, like, I don't want to get stressed out and pissed off that I can't quite make it. There are exceptions to that, right? Like I wouldn't dream of playing Doom Eternal at anything other than the hardest setting, right? Because the struggle is part of the thing that makes you feel that way in that game. But like when I get a platform, saying this is a really hard platform, it doesn't make me want to play it more. Like, I'm just like, oh, it's hard. Like, I don't mind a game being hard because I'm not good. But if you're trying to make a game, coupled with the fact that I'm not very good at games, I'm gonna have a bad time, you know?
Yeah, well, a lot of the problem with the hard platforms is the fact that they just don't have very tight controls either. And when you have a platformer like that, it's just you can't play it.
I always wonder though, do they make the controls loose in order to make it harder? Like, do they make a really tight tuned game, then go, let's loosen it up because we want it to be harder?
Maybe there will definitely be devs who do that for sure. There are also devs who are just not very good.
Well, don't do that, devs.
Yeah,
stop it.
Bad devs. Make good games.
Yeah, make games supposed to be fun. I do think that the gaming has got there are two types of gamers though. There are gamers that just want to enjoy an experience, and there are gamers who want to be told that they're awesome because they can finish this game. And I'm like, no, your self-worth should not be linked to how good at Diablo
I think those are the same sort of people who get really invested in things like Apex and all like those big multiplayer games.
See, I've played MOBAs. MOBAs? No, I've played battle royales, right? And enjoyed them. Not because I'm like, I'm the best in the world, fuck you, but like more because like, oh shit, I actually won one. Cool. You know, that's
the idea of the game I enjoy. It's just like I don't have any interest in like the ranking sort of thing. Like I am silver now, I'm golden now, I'm platinum, go up, and they just reset every couple of months.
Yeah.
It's not my thing.
It's nice to go into a game and be surprised at how well you did on your own, right? Like it's nice to go, like when I was playing a lot of PUBG on Stadia before that went down the pan deeply. It was nice to go in there and then like feel like, oh shit, I won. I feel like I feel competent. I feel like I got somewhere with this. It's a nice feeling. But yeah, like if someone said play this, it's like PUBG, but we made the bots into like Terminators. I'd be like, no, thank you. No, I don't want that. I don't want that.
Yeah, I mainly like play single player stuff anyway. I sort of like challenging myself, really. That's that. I've been playing things like Dead Cells and Hades a lot recently. That's my main sort of go-to.
Hades is really good, right? Hades is good. Hades is really that's one of the games with really tight controls, really balanced. It's one of them that I didn't quite, even though it's exceptional, I don't think I took to it the way I wanted to. Like I really want to enjoy it more than I did. But I didn't. How much did I play? I don't think I played loads.
I think I
see because this. I played like 8 hours of it, and I just like it didn't. Yeah, I didn't really feel the need to go back to it, but not because it was bad. It didn't hook me the way it should have done. You know.
I think Hades is an absolutely amazing game. What I think it suffers from, especially what I noticed after playing Dead Cells, is there is a severe lack of content. Is probably a good way to put it. You already have the set 4 areas, 5 areas. If you don't count boss rooms, 4 areas. And that's what you have to run every single time. Sure, the bosses get more difficult. Sure, you can like increase the difficulty of the game generally, change up your build, but you're always running the exact same areas every single time. And Dead Cells, on the other hand, it has the same sort of progression system where you go through a room, boss, room, boss, and then you get to the end of the game. And you keep redoing that loop. But there are different routes that you can take every time.
Yeah, and sometimes, especially when you're starting off, it feels like it's randomly generated because you're so lost all the time, right? It's only when you start really sort of getting a grip of the game, you start going, okay, this isn't random. This is the same thing every time. I'm just going to find my way.
Yeah, you just realize, there's actually these set rooms they just place that seem random.
Yep, that's cool. That's cool.
Obviously, there are the random elements like, there might be a health fountain here, there might not be, but besides that, that's sort of a problem with procedurally generated stuff. Once you realize how it's procedurally generated, you realize it's not as special as it thought.
Procedural generation has a place in gaming, but for the most part, it makes them worse. Like if the developer says to me, "Oh, this is procedurally generated," I'm like, that means you didn't do any work. Like go make the level yourself. Stop letting your computer do it. Your REST will not generate as good a level as a person. Just stop it.
Yeah. If you had maybe if you sort of simulated the idea of procedural generation, but you had these levels you made out yourself. It's just that the parts that would connect together were sort of different. I think that would work out.
I don't know. I think that when a game's procedurally generated, it doesn't have the authenticity. It feels like surprise boxes. It doesn't feel like a place to explore. And like there are times that's not true. Like there are things like Loop Hero, for instance, right, which isn't so much procedurally generated as generated as a side effect of gameplay, right? And that makes sense, right? Or if it's a game like Hades and stuff, they've got to do a certain amount of mixing up to keep it going. But yeah, I think when someone goes like this level's been generated by computer, I'm like, oh, so it's going to be very boring and very samey. It's like it's what you're going to get with that.
I think the procedural generation works for games like Dead Cells and Hades because the main focus is fighting the bosses. And the bosses are the same every time. And it's more like the procedural generation is there to sort of
training rooms, right?
Yeah, it's to train you to fight the boss, and it's to sort of be a stumble block along the way. Because if you had the exact same rooms every single time, you would get to the point fairly quickly where you could just smash through those rooms with no effort whatsoever.
Yeah, I agree. But that's the case of someone using procedural generation like a tool to make their game. But it's the ones where like I was trying to think Songbird. There was a couple of games that came out a few years ago, and there was touting procedural generation like it was a selling point.
Yeah.
Just like no.
Well, what was the space game that was really bad when it first came out?
All of them, every space game.
Yes. What was it called? It like procedure generated planets.
Oh, you're about No Man's Sky.
Yeah, No Man's Sky.
Yeah,
that's a game where the procedure generation did some interesting things early on.
Okay, so like No Man's Sky, right, is one of them games where like I feel bad for it because it actually was a good game when it came out. Like if you just look at it in isolation, just look at the game with no hype, you go, it's pretty fun, right? The problem was it wasn't even remotely what they promised.
Yeah.
Right. So all the people that followed the game's development went, "This isn't it, fuck you." And all the people that literally didn't follow it, "Oh, cool space game." They got a cool space game. The problem with that is complicated, obviously. But yeah, like No Man's Sky, the people who say, "Oh, it's a terrible game," it was fixed. It was always a good game. It was always fine, really fine. Yeah, it's fine. If anything, they've added so much content now; it's just absolutely daunting to load in because of all the shit they've added to it.
I have never actually played the game. All I know about it is there are really weird looking animals.
Yeah, there are. They're not as bad now. But I've just looked on Steam. I can't believe No Man's Sky is still 40 quid. That seems ridiculous. Wow. Okay. Yeah.
When did the game come out?
2016.
Jeez. Okay. Yeah, that's a little much.
Yeah. To tell you, I know. I don't know if you have topics planned for this, but I've got a topic. Here's something you can talk about. Have you played Biomutant?
I haven't, but I hear it's a good game, and it's not a good game. I don't know.
Okay, so first of all, I need to say, Biomutant is essentially Kingdoms of Amalur, right? It's essentially a very similar game to Kingdoms of Amalur with a drastically different setting, which fools you into thinking it's a drastically different game until you're about 20 hours in and you're like, actually, I can start to see the, it's beautiful looking. They've created a wonderful world in it. And then they thought, hey, I'll charge £55 for it. £55! And I was like, that's literally twice as much money as you should be asking.
It is $100 in Australia. That is stupid. No.
Fucking, what is that about? So I went to Humble Bundle, Humble Monthly, Humble whatever it's called now, humble.store.io.
Yeah, whatever the nonsense is, yeah.
And I've got 20% discount because I'm a subscriber to Humble Choices. So that got it down to £45 or thereabouts. And I was like, that's still too much money, but I'm curious enough to fucking fine, I'll buy it. And I loaded it up and I played it. And I've got 29.1 hours on record now, which doesn't sound like a lot until you realize that was over 3 days, right? Right. I literally it was like it started on Friday and I played 10 hours and I got up Saturday and played 10 hours and I got up Sunday and played 10. Literally like 3 days, like that. Yeah. Which you would think I'd go because it was really good, right? No, it's not. No. What happened there was it was a very nice setting, right? And because I like nice settings, that was enough to carry me. And because I like the setting and I like being a little squirrel and running around, right? I've just realised there's no tea in this cup. I'm a little bit disappointed. Sorry, that was heartbreaking.
I know the feeling.
Yeah. I was running around the world. I was being I like the motion and the fighting, and every now and again I discover something. And for the first 10 hours, I was like, this is good. I'm really enjoying this. It's interesting. It's different. It's like Skyrim if it was not shit. Like that's kind of because Skyrim is the worst game ever made, pretty much. I know the people are about to type comments. No, it is. It's not.
We can talk about Skyrim in a bit.
It's a bag of shit. Anyway, like. Don't even get me started on Fallout. Anyway, so I'm enjoying it. Right after 10 hours, I'm like, it's good. I'm enjoying it. And then 10 hours after that, I was like, every time that it's got this mechanic where I have to like do fights in what they call forts, right? I'm like, oh, every single one's the exact same fight. I was like, that's sad. And then there's other things we have to unify the tribes and stuff. You have to enter their stronghold, and it's like mini fight. Very basic puzzle, mini fight, it's over. And I was like, well, I've done 5 of these now. Great. By the time I got to about 28 hours, I was like, just fucking end. Just end already. I'm still really liking the motion in it, but yeah, it's if I'm going to pay 55 English pounds for a game, I should be playing that for 100 hours, right? Should not be playing that for 30 hours and going, I just feel like I'm done with it, And I feel like I've seen most things in Biomutant. I don't think there's a lot I haven't seen in there, but it was weird because it's such a nicely presented setting that it tricks you into thinking it's a way better game than it is. And then when you start seeing the edges of that and you start going, okay, well, like there's a mechanic in the game with mounts, right? So I had this cool hot air balloon mount, right? And I'm like, this is a cool hot air balloon. I'm like, going around the level, my air balloon. And then I was like, I tried to summon my hot air balloon in a different area, and it went, oh no, you can only use that hot air balloon over the desert.
Oh.
Why? Why? I just don't want to use my hot air balloon over here to get to that hill because it's boring to climb up it. And it's like, why? And then it's got this mechanic where like you attach spells to the face because I was playing controller, so it's like it's like the face buttons. I use spells. So if I want to do fire, I go triangle. If I want to do jump, I get magic jump, I go X. Right. But I didn't just have 4 skills. I had 10 skills. So every time I want to change skill, I go into the menu and reassign the skill to a button to use it, to then go back into the menu and reassign the other one back. And I was like, I think of my 30 hours, I spent 29 hours in the menu changing my options around. And then it's got this other mechanic where you've got this magic power fist, right? And the only time you use the power fist is to punch a hole in a wall. And it's cool, right? So you have to equip the fucking fist every time. Instead of just walking up to the wall and holding down X, which is what you think, you have to equip the fist and then hold down X and then unequip the fist. And it's just like, there are things like that in the game that just make it tedious to play. So by the time I got to the end, it couldn't end fast enough. And in order to get to the end of the game, you have 4 boss fights you have to do.
Right.
And they're big, but they're like you spend your time preparing for the boss in each area, essentially. That's the kind of like little bit Breath of the Wildy in that way, which is not a bad thing at all. But no matter how you build your character, it then, when you go to the boss fight, it goes, oh, you're on a horse for this boss fight. I'm like, I don't know that horse. I've never ridden a horse. The mount is moved slower than I can walk as a squirrel. And it can't jump. And I can like jump and shit. And I'm like, and I've got magic, and it goes, you can't use magic when you're mounted. And I'm like, well, don't mount me then, you dickhead. Like, don't do that. And then there's the next one. I was like, I'm in water. And I'm like, okay, I'm on like a bike in water. And I was built for magic on land. So that was terrible. And it was tedious and boring. And then each boss fight is like that. They're so formulaic and scripted. Like, there's only one way to play the boss fight. If you can have a boss in your game, just make it a big old bullet sponge. Just give it loads of health and let me just shoot it with however I like. And I won't give you any spoilers, but then it had a shit ending on top of that. So yeah,
lovely.
But yeah, it's weirdly because when it's the first 10 hours, I was like, he doesn't deserve these mixed reviews. Like, sure, it's overpriced, but these reviews are mixed. He doesn't deserve that. But by the time I got to like the end of the game, I was like, this game totally deserves mixed reviews because even I don't know how I feel about it. It's like, it totally makes sense to stop mixed reviews. So that was my Biomutant TED Talk.
I saw a little bit of your video on Biomutant. It looked like a pretty game. And you saw the mixed reviews, and I'm looking at some of the reviews now, and some of these reviews are actually really good. And they all seem to be around the same point where people are like, this is kind of shit. Like, maybe a $40 game, get it for less than $30 when it's on sale. This game is a hot girl with no personality.
Yeah, you know what? That's misogynistic and wrong, but very good, very well phrased.
Okay, here's one then. Something is missing. I feel dead inside when I play this.
No, I didn't. I did enjoy the world. The world was nice, but it was like
it looks really pretty. I'll give it that. It is a really pretty looking game.
And it's fun to be a squirrel. But like things like the premise of the game is the world ended an unknown amount of time ago, and the world ended because of pollution.
Right.
And then it mutated the animals. Now the animals are living in their own society. So it's a post-apocalyptic to humans, but from their point of view, it's a freshly built. Well, it's like it's an origin story for them, which is an interesting dichotomy. It's a nice yin and yang to one thing dies to the else lives. Right. The problem is they don't expand on that at all. Right. They don't give you any lore in the game past a few signposts that go pollution's bad, right?
Right.
And there's a bit of that, and it's got a very heavy environmentalist message, which I respect, right? I'm totally in favor of that.
Sure, I like lovely. Trees. Trees are good.
Yeah, it's preachy in a way that is unashamed. They're like humans fucked up the world because they're dirty, meat-eating, layabout wankers. I'm like, yeah, we are. I'm a human. That's true, right? So I didn't mind any of that. And I thought all the mixed reviews was because I didn't read the reviews before I played the game.
Right.
Because of course I
don't do that. Very bad. I never look at reviews.
So I didn't look at any, and I was like, maybe this is why it gets negative reviews on Steam because the preachiness of it. But no one even mentioned that. People seem on board with the ecological message of it, which is good. But yeah, the fact they've got like you've got this poster, like it's recently the humans died out within a couple of generations. Squirrels live for 20 years, so you assume that the world has been humans have only been gone for like 50 years, right? Realistically, that's what you assume. But I don't know that because there's no lore in the game. There's all these cool settings and visuals, but there's no lore. There's no world building other than the visuals.
Is it one of these games that do lore through like item descriptions, or is there no lore whatsoever?
No. There is lore in the game, but it's so basic. It doesn't even down to what actually happens to humans. Why is there a tree of life? Is there life ever else on Earth? Where am I geographically? There's all these very basic questions that are not explored within the game, and that active because even though I'm not usually a plot guy, I like lore, and I would have liked to have if there had been little things I could stop and read, I would have done. And I get they wanted to make a game that wasn't about humans, but I would like to have found some notes about what happens to humans, or even find a couple of human corpses, right? Because you got to remember, you're a squirrel, right?
Sure.
You're a squirrel, so you're like 3 feet tall because you're a mutant squirrel, right? So when you see cars, when there's car there and it's abandoned, your eye level is at the top of the boot of the car, right, at the rear of the car, right? So you're really small. So it would have been cool to see human stuff and go, oh shit, humans were massive. So if you see a dead human, you're like, shit me, they're massive, But there's no leftovers. It's devoid of the stuff that would have made the world way more deep science fiction, right? That would have made it way more intricate. And that's where the game fell down. Because I feel, and this sounds like a hyperbolic thing, right? But they made half a game. They made the game, and then they didn't do the bit where you're supposed to then enrich the game with lore and with artwork and with interesting things. But they made the basics and went, ship it quick. And that's sad, really,
So if I get it on sale for I don't know.
Go to my fridge. I can't read the headphones.
Oh, you have a fridge there?
There you go. Fridge. Okay. Okay, there you go. Back.
So if I got it for maybe half price, maybe that would be worth it.
If that was a £35 game, it would be a hard recommend for me. But honestly, if I had paid £35 for it, I would have been like, I had £35 worth of fun out. But at £55, which is it's not just not worth it. It's a little bit. I feel like they've overpriced it, hoping that when people buy it, they want to get buyer's confirmation and be like, it's great,
right?
Definitely worth £55. And I'm not sure how true that is, but it's not if I'd have paid given that right now I can buy Kings of Amalur, the remaster for £35, there's a lot more game there for that. I'm just gonna check that.
Well, there's no fucking way I'm paying $100 for it. That's not happening. That's stupid. I can buy so many fucking games for that.
I mean, so at full price, you can get Kings of Amalur, the Re-Reckoning, right, for $34.99. And I've played the original Kings of Amalur. I played 60 hours of, and I've also played 18 hours of the remake. So I'm guessing you can get 70 hours at Kings of Amalur easy, right? For a lot less money. And the remake of Kings of Amalur is a far better game overall, but it lacks the whimsy setting. So
I've never played this game, but it looks cool.
Kings of Amalur?
Yeah.
That was fucking oh god, Kings of Amalur, right? It's fucking great. The original game had had one very large problem which you had to just accept. And that was it had a crappy camera. So
right.
it was a camera that was behind your character, but it wasn't. It was designed for a 4:3 ratio. So like it was weird. You basically, your character was just too big in your camera, right? It was just like.
Okay.
But then to combat that, if you got into combat, the camera would zoom out and go to the side, and then that was disorienting. But you kind of get used to it after like a few hours. But the game was good enough to carry it. So when they made Kings of Amalur: The Re-Reckoning, they went ridiculous, and it may have more camera and FOV controls than any game in history. Like you can zoom out so far that your character's 1 pixel, and it's the game's like, yeah, it's fine. Fine. So they addressed the problem they had, and the result is the Kings of Amalur: The Re-Reckoning is an absolutely superb game. Like, really is good, and it runs beautifully on pretty much a potato. It's really good.
That reminds me of what the Veleran devs did. I don't know if you know what Veleran is. Basically, like an open source version of Cube World.
No, this is news to me.
Do you know? Wait, you don't know? Do you know what Cube World is? Because that will make this harder.
Cube World.
I will send you a link to Veleran. Okay, here you go.
Whoa, did that come through Jitsi?
It
Jesus
did.
Christ, Jitsi's got chat built in?
Yeah, they do. Most people don't realize.
Okay, I'm going to have to copy that now. I'm going to have to paste it in a different browser.
Okay, yeah. Basically, it is like it's a voxel RPG.
Okay. This is like Ace of Spades and stuff like that, right?
Yes, but not an FPS.
Okay.
But yeah, it's basically a voxel RPG.
That, I mean, I know it's not a popular opinion, but that is fucking hideous, isn't it? That's just horrible to look at. It's like, yeah, not a fan. But carry on, sorry.
Anyway, I love this game. It's a great game. But the devs like to pop into my live streams occasionally, and I intentionally break the game, and half the time they're just like, no, that's a feature. So you can use your mouse wheel to like scroll out to get like a bigger view of the world. You can scroll out so far that the game map just starts violently shaking, and like, no, that's a feature. We're not fixing that. That's funny.
That's great. Yeah, it's like too much zoom.
You can zoom in to first person as well. You want to play this game first person, but hey, it's there. I love the devs. They're awesome people. Yeah, highly recommend playing Veleran if you want a bit of fun. It's very alpha and will break a lot, but it's fun. Anyway, that was my tangent. I just want to talk about the camera.
Every time I see a game that's like voxel-y, I'm like, what these are is massive pixels. So essentially, and I know this is not true, but in my head, I'm like, a game like this, it's essentially, if you take every single cube as a pixel, it's like I'm in a really low resolution. And I don't know why it bothers me.
I get what you're saying there.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, that looks fine. Yeah. Is that going to come to Steam, is it? Or is it just like an open sourcey thing?
It's just open sourcey. They might put it on Steam at some point, I don't know. But it's very alpha right now. And, well, they had a trading system where the trading system was so broken, you could buy infinite potions because potions cost less than a rock. You just pick up a rock off the ground and pay for every potion in the shop.
Brilliant. My favorite bug with that was when Borderlands 2 came out, and you could just give someone negative money. It's like, I'll just give you -3 million. And then they patched it, so a buddy of mine found out that he could give me all his money, and then hard kill the game, so it didn't write a save game, and then load back in his money was there, and then give me all his money and hard kill it, and just do that, and then I'd just give it back to him, and he'd have like 100 billion.
All the Borderlands, even without that, all the Borderlands games have duping bugs in them anyway. I remember there was a way, I think you could like give someone an item and then just quit out the game, and if the game has an autosave, it just dupes it. So whatever. It's fine.
Yeah. Borderlands. I mean, yeah. Then Borderlands 3 happened and we all just stopped.
I haven't played 3 yet, but I was playing pre-sequel, and pre-sequel it felt like it was missing something. It felt like it was Borderlands 2 without the character.
What, wasn't that an Australian developer?
It was, yeah.
Nice things about it. You have to pretend it's the best one, isn't it? That part of is that what you have to do?
No, I'll just pretend that like Tasmanian Tiger is the best game. I'm not going to do it for 2 games.
Okay, fair enough. No, Borderlands 2, I played 120 hours of.
I love Borderlands 2. It is amazing.
I really enjoyed it, but with friends. I didn't enjoy it because it was great. I enjoyed it as a sandbox with friends.
Right?
Borderlands 1, I played a total of like 70 hours of that. Right?
Do you like deserts?
The remaster as well.
And brown.
You know what? Borderlands 1 is the best Borderlands game. I know that's not a popular opinion, but because like they had an actual gun mechanic system, so that it rewarded you for playing the same weapon.
Yeah,
so I played pistols, and I got to the point where I could just like shoot a pistol and a rocket would leave my chamber, and that was like not game breaking. That the game was built to let you do shit like that, and it was really. I liked Borderlands 1. It knew what it was, right? In Borderlands 2, they went like
they replaced that with the badass rank,
which was crap. Because the progression was so slow, you didn't feel like
2% better ammo, 2% better damage. Like no,
you can just get that save game, give yourself 10 million badass points, and make the game a lot of fun, which is always good to do. But then Borderlands 3 came out, and I played 2 hours 8 minutes and stopped. It's like they went. People hate Claptrap. Let's put more Claptrap in it. Like, what are you doing? And then we know it's annoying. It's like, you might know it's annoying. It's still fucking annoying.
I don't know how they ruined Claptrap after the first game. Like, I enjoyed Claptrap in the first one. Then they was like,
it's because there wasn't a lot of him. It was just enough to annoy you, and then he fucked off, and he was like, that's good.
Yeah, that's fair. Then 2, he was an essential character, and pre-sequel, you could just play Claptrap. No.
Yeah, no. Pre-sequel had terrible, like it had great visuals, by Borderlands. It was a step up visual wise. Some of the systems, like the thing where you could jump up there and slam down, was a good system, right? But then they went, we also never read a book on level design. And like,
oh god, the hub area in pre-sequel was so fucking boring. It's like, hey, you want to run across the moon for 10 minutes? Like, no, stop it.
I mean, in real life, yes, I want to do that. Like, I totally want to run across the moon for 10 minutes, but not in video games. I've done that. It's boring. Yeah, that'd be amazing if you did it in real life, though. Anyway, sorry, tangent.
Yeah,
no, I agree. But also like Borderlands 1, 2. Well, Borderlands 1 wasn't so bad, but 2 in the pre-sequel, it's like you do like a whole, let's say, dungeon, mission, whatever, area, and then you have to walk back to the entrance, which is so fucking boring. They needed a button to like take me home, like just exit button.
Yeah, it's called jump off the map.
Yeah, I mean that's what we all do. That, but when your solution is to find a place to leap off the map because it's quicker than walking back, like maybe a return home button, like a little item, like a single use item. You can use it once, and then you have to recharge it, and then or make it expensive, whatever. But yeah, give me some way to just leave a fucking map, Borderlands.
No,
which doesn't. To be fair, I haven't played enough 3 to find out if that's still a problem, but I assume they fixed it because it's a big problem.
Yeah, all I know about 3 is it looks kind of cool, and all the Borderlands games look kind of cool.
The Borderlands 3s. It's like all the worst things about Borderlands. Like, and I know that's one thing people say, and it's a bit like a fashionable to say and all that. But no, it is one of them where like they just took all the things people didn't like and doubled down on it, and it's weird. And also my Steam's on that thing where I tried to get the Borderlands 3 page, and it gone, when was you born? So obviously I selected 1900. But then it didn't undraw the drop-down box.
Right.
So I'm like looking right now, and I'm like on the Steam page, and I've just got this fucking drop-down box just hanging out on the page, which is ludicrous. I'm gonna send you a link.
Yeah, send me a link. Oh, crazy.
Look at that shit. It's just just hanging out on my Steam page.
Okay.
That's about.
Oh god. That's lovely.
Yeah, just that's there now, and it's not just the Borderlands page. That's the whole of Steam now. It's got that.
Oh jeez.
So yeah, so now I've got to exit Steam and reload it to get rid of that. Good work, Steam.
Wait, it asks you. Does it always ask you for your age if you're logged into Steam? Just never.
Yeah.
Why Steam? Why do you do that?
No.
Stop. It's dumb.
I've told how many times I have to tell you I was born in 1900.
Okay, I'm looking at screenshots of 3, and it like has the same sort of style as Borderlands, but that's what you'd expect.
Visually it's fine. The visual's not a problem.
Yeah.
But you've got way more Claptrap, way more annoying jokes that you can't skip, and just they stick there. The first portion of the game takes place on Pandora, which is the same place as the.
Right, 3 you go around the galaxy, don't you?
Yeah. But it starts off in Pandora, which is the most boring place to be. Like it's like the version of Pandora there. It's like, because I've played 3 games on Pandora. I'm done with Pandora at this point, so it's just tedious now. It
kind of would have made sense if they did, started a little later. We're done with Pandora. Pandora's done. We've got the vault twice. Let's leave.
Well, I mean, to be fair to them, after about 2 hours you do leave. But then I was like, oh look, I'm on fucking tedious planet, yeah. But it's just the first place you go to is like cyberpunk visuals. And it's a bit nicer, but then it's just like a bit of a barren wasteland, and it's like, oh, it's a waste. It's a city desert instead of a desert. So yeah,
they seem to really like just open wastelands. Pre-sequels, the Moon. Yeah. 1, you had an actual desert. 2, you had an ice desert.
I mean, the thing is, in 1 though, that desert, at least it was interesting, right? Like, it wasn't just a desert. There was they'd added a few things to it, and it just, they'd made it cool. They'd made a cool desert.
So one of my mates told me that I'd played all the way through 1 with him. I couldn't remember doing that. It just left my mind. That's how much I enjoyed Borderlands 1.
That's the thing about 1. Like, you're right, 1 is not a very memorable game, but it's a very satisfying shooter with interesting mechanics. And it's a role-play shooter in the same way the others are, but it's less role-play, and it's a more solid shooter. Yeah. And that's what I want in my shooters. Like, if someone said to me, I want to play Borderlands, and I'd say no. But if they said, you want to play Borderlands 1 specifically, I'd be like, all right, I'll do that. I'm up for that. But yeah, I think that's because I like the shooting mechanics quite a lot. I was happy to be in them shooting mechanics.
Yeah, you're probably right about that. They should have expanded upon the gun proficiency system rather than completely scrapping
rather than just taking it out. Yeah, because I thought the gun proficiency might find its way back to Borderlands 3, and I was excited. Excited is the wrong word, but I was like, yeah, that sounds cool. Bring it back. No, as far as I can tell, it's just not in there. As far as I can tell.
Well, speaking of games that you love, tell me about Skyrim. Why is Skyrim such a bad game? I need to hear your take on this.
Okay, so I'm not like, this isn't a crusade or anything, right? But like Skyrim's like I've got Skyrim's not fun, right? Like, it's so fucking boring. The opening's cool, right? But also very boring. Like, it's cool, while simultaneously I'm going, I just want to get my mouse back. I just want to do something. And then you do something, and then it goes, here's big old boring place, and you go off and the reason you have to use fast travel is because their world is so fucking boring, you don't want to walk through it. And and then I see people who've got like 9 million hours in Skyrim. I'm like, do you not know about Oblivion or Morrowind or literally any other game? Like, I don't understand, But yeah, it's not like I've got, I'm not grinding. I've got some, like, you should talk to Drew and Chris, man. They'll tell you about Skyrim. Jesus, yeah, you should come on. You should come out Trendy Talk podcast, and they'll fucking tell you about Skyrim. Jesus, yeah.
Yeah, I'd be more happy to do that.
But it's Skyrim, like Oblivion, like Morrowind was, it's an amazing game that's got historically important, right? And then you got Oblivion, which is watered down but still charming in its own way, even with all of the stupid stuff in there. You can still stumble across shit. And then Skyrim is just a lot of emptiness with caves that don't go anywhere, do anything. And, and it's very console-fied as well. The interface is very console-y.
I wasn't agreeing with you beforehand, but I think you're onto something here.
That's the thing. When I say things about games, I've thought about it. I think it's to ruin games you love. There you go.
I think 300 hours in Skyrim, so...
Yeah, and I bet, like, when you're honest, like, you'll say hour 30 was the same as hour 300. Like, it's just other than mods. So I've got 59 hours logged, right, on Steam, and I've played it on consoles. And I just, like, it's fine.
Well, to be fair, I played it on PS3, so a good part of that 100 hours was loading screens.
About 200 of it was probably loading screens on PS3 then.
Fucking loading screens. Also, on PS3, the game was buggy as hell, so I think my second save...
No. That wasn't on PS3. That's Bethesda at work.
No, this was a PS3 specific bug. So on my second save, it actually was one of the story missions soft locked. So there was like one where you had to like put a claw thing in a wall, and if you did that they were supposed to open. It didn't open. You restart the game, didn't open. Leave, come back, didn't open. Never opened.
Okay. Recently, I had that. I don't know if I might have told it before. I tried playing Warhammer Chaos Bane with a friend online, right? Mm-hmm. Have you played Warhammer Chaos Bane? Right? If you've not played it, it's essentially Diablo 3. Right? It's Diablo 3, right? It's quite... I mean, I like these sorts of games, but especially like co-op stuff, right? So me and my buddy was like, yeah, right, okay. So we did a mission that took us 40 minutes, and we got to the end, and we couldn't figure out how to exit. And we're like, well, how do we finish this mission? after literally an hour, we went on YouTube, and then we watched someone's playthrough. We're like, okay, we did that. Fast forward, we did that, yeah. And then it goes, now talk to this guy. It's like, where's the guy? Where's the guy? Where the fuck's the guy? And the guy hadn't spawned up, right? Which is like in itself quite annoying, right? And then was like, okay, we'll give it another chance. We did the mission again. It worked. Turns out to be a 5-minute mission when you've got the guy to talk to.
Right. And
we goes on to the next mission. And my buddy's there and he picks the mission. I goes, where'd you pick the mission from? He's like, this woman right here. And I'm like, where is she? And he goes, and he shows me his screen. I'm like, I'm literally like, there's no one there on my screen. 3 hours in that game. We just both were like, you know what? No. And those are fucking bugs. But I hate that. When you don't know a game is bugged, and you just like, have I done something wrong? Is it me? You know, and like at least when Skyrim bugs, it goes, nope, I'm fucked. You know, at least it knows well to tell you that. But yeah, don't play Chaos with friends. It might be fine in single player, but I just did not want to play it in single player. But don't. Yeah, it's not.
Well, it has very mixed reviews, so I
bet. I mean, I'm guessing there is custom bugs because it is horrendous.
Let's see. If not for big ass Warhammer plaster in the game banner, no one would care.
No one cares, but Warhammer's not like Warhammer. Give a license. If I wanted to make a Warhammer game, they'd give me a license. The Warhammer name is just at this point. It's like saying space, isn't it? It's just such a thing. It's just such a huge thing that no one cares about.
So I love it when a game is buggy, but not buggy in a way that breaks the game. Like I was playing Kingdom Hearts the other day, and that game, man, I forgot how buggy the first Kingdom Hearts was. So I was going through Halloween Town, and this enemy decided to attack me, and then just jump off the map. Just like, okay, goodbye. Like, why did you do that?
Yeah, like what? Literally like flies away or just runs off.
So it's this enemy that's got like, it's got these like long arms, and it can like sort of glide with them. So it like jumped, got stuck on a bit of the terrain, and then just disappeared.
My two favorite bugs in games that I've encountered, right, was Diablo 3 had one. Early on in Diablo 3, there's the little town with this village, and there's a guy who stabs you, right? Like a little NPC that stabs you, right? He got obsessed with me and followed me around for the rest of the game. Like, he followed me around the entire zone, just stabbing, and it's doing like 1 damage, and I'm like, I've got 200 hours logged, mate. I don't care. He just followed me around. And I teleported away from the area. And I was playing with a buddy. I teleported away from the area, and he just stops. He just turns to my buddy. He's just like, stab. I came back. He was like, oh, you're back. Stab. I'm like, I don't know what happened there. Like, but we left the zone and came back, and it was fine. But like, he followed us all the way around the zone. We called him Stabby Joe, and we made him a member of our party. It was just delightful. And then my next favorite bug is I played Star Trek, the Star Trek game. What was just called Star Trek? That was the game based off the Abrams movies, right? And I played that with a buddy. And one time, Spock's head floated away. Just his head. The rest of him was fine. His head left. And then other times where like my buddy was talking to me, and he just starts sliding off the screen. I'm like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I don't know. Why is the world moving away from me?" And he just slides off. That game was just brilliant. Because every time it crashed, it was so fucked up that you didn't mind. He was like, "I've just seen something that no human should see." And it was great. Just great. That's probably why it's not on Steam anymore. To be fair.
Fair enough. Because of your Discord, I found a game called Crystar, and man, Crystar is a game that looks great in the first like 5 hours, and I finished the fucking game. I finished all 3 of the playthroughs, and that game is so... If you want a game that's boring, so these are like hand-designed levels, but every level looks exactly the same.
Yeah, at that point, I prefer procedural. Right? So basically, you found this on my Discord. Someone was recommending this on my Discord.
Yeah. The first area is good. It's once you realize every area is the first area, that's when it's fucking boring. Basically, the way they differentiate the areas is they use a different colored filter. So the first area is purple, then it's like white, and then it's like dark, and then it's yellow, and they all look the fucking same. Doesn't help the combat is just mind-numbing. If you want a game where to win, you just press X, literally just press X to win every single fight.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
but the reason I brought that up now is because the AI in that game is so easy to break. So the larger enemies don't have good pathfinding. So if there's like an area that has a ledge, they will just try to follow you up the ledge, but can't walk up ledges and just stand there.
Ledge. But so you paid £50 for this?
No, I got it half price.
Okay, it's like that's. What is it? It's like a spectacle fighter, is it? Or
sure, we'll call it a spectacle fighter. Why not?
It seems to think it's a spectacle fighter. Female. Steam tags at work again. Action RPG female protagonist anime. What is it though?
It's a spectacle fighter without the spectacle.
Oh, so it's like a fighter.
Yes. Just make a spectacle fighter with the like most boring combat mechanics you've ever seen.
It's like Bayonetta if she had backache sort of thing.
Basically, yes. Also, half the characters are unplayable. So the first girl you get, she doesn't have any decent abilities until like 30 hours in the game. Second girl you get, her range is like, I don't know, 2 inches in front of her, and she's unusable. Then you eventually get a girl who's actually usable, and then you play nothing but her. Then the last girl you get, her defense is so low that if you play her before like the 40-hour mark, you just get one shot by most things.
I want someone to clip the moment where you talk about the third girl you get is pretty usable, because that just out of context. Perfect.
Someone's gonna do it now.
Yeah. Good work, guys. DM me that, guys.
But you could also soft lock one of the late game bosses, because so the attack patterns were very, very readable, and this boss wouldn't attack you until they got far enough away from you, and their movement speed was the same as your running speed. So if you just followed them, they would never attack you.
Imagine that. How did you beat the boss? I got really close. He was uncomfortable.
Also, the boss is a girl that turns into a bus. Because anime.
Sorry. Did you say a bus?
Yeah. Yeah, she got hit. Yeah.
A bus.
So the whole premise of the game is basically everyone's super depressed because they've got shit lives. Like the main girl, this isn't a spoiler, it happens in the first 5 minutes. She dies, and then for reasons that I can't explain, she kills her sister, and then her sister gets brought back to life, and then she kills her sister again, and then she's like super depressed for a while. And then the next girl that comes in, she's like, yeah, I got dragged down into hell and my baby died. Like, what the fuck am I playing? And everyone's like that. Everyone's just super depressed the entire game. But the girl who turns into a bus...
How much of this did you play?
The entire thing.
Why?
But
Why?
I don't know. I played it on stream.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
But the girl turned into a bus. The reason she turned into a bus is because she died in a bus crash. Just like, okay. Sure.
Yeah,
Crystar shit.
Because I didn't choke on ice cream or something. It would have turned into...
Also, so there's a girl who, the entire game, you think she's important, and so this is one of your party members. You think she's important, maybe she's like, because she's lost her memory. Maybe she's like a friend of the main character and didn't remember it. No, it turns out she's just like some random person that was never introduced prior to that point. She's like, okay, just like a person. Cool.
So
wasted character.
Who in my Discord recommended this, and would you like
I don't remember. I think it was just some random person.
Okay, I'll find out who it is and we'll ban them. For you. Like, no, we'll not recommend terrible games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's it probably Linux Paul. Linux Paul's got some playtime in it as well. So also, what's with the achievements on this game? It's just 51 pictures of the same dog.
Yeah, they couldn't come up with achievement art. They're just like, here's a picture of the dog. The dog, actually, no, to be fair, the dog's the best character. And it's a really old...
It doesn't fucking talk.
Oh, that's the other thing. There's one voice line for the dog every time. It's the exact same
what's up,
woof.
Braggy?
It's like, woof. And that's all.
I love it when voice actors do that. You give a voice actor a script and it goes woof, and he just goes woof. Like, make a bark sound and it says woof.
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 Every time it happened, I just had to go along with it because it was clearly a person doing the woof. They didn't even get a dog doing it.
Well, you get a human to make a bark sound. Voice actors do that, right? Like, if you ask them, I'm sure
they can, but this guy couldn't.
Yeah. Well, he probably could. He was like, I've read the script for this game, so woof is all you're getting at me.
When I got the thing that sort of like made me realize how great this game was when I got to the final credits at the bottom, made with Unity. It's like perfect.
Oh man, we can't diss Unity. Oh, Unity's fine.
I love Unity, but it's also the game engine of like shit devs. There are amazing games made with it.
Like I feel bad for you. Like I always have a thing like where like I feel like the engine is not responsible for the game. I know it is like.
Well, yeah, they have the built-in Unity store. That's why people do it.
Yeah, but this game says similar to games you've played, Tales of Berseria and Lacrimosa of Dana, and I'm like, I don't believe this game.
It's a JRPG.
Yeah. In the sense it's a JRPG, maybe. That's better.
Wait, let me grab something. 1 sec.
If he comes back with a dildo bat, I'm not really impressed. It's like it's definitely gonna be a dildo bat. He's gone.
Okay, definitely. I can hear
you. A dildo bat. Oh, he can hear me. I should stop talking about a dildo bat.
Okay.
No one mentioned dildo bats.
No, that's something different. That's Saints Row. That's a good game. Here's a game that you don't like.
Oh man, did you play that?
I love Tales of Berseria. It's so fucking good.
Okay, well I'm really glad then, because maybe you can explain the fucking combat. It makes no sense. Nonsense. Like I won a fight by in the video. I closed my eyes and I tapped X till I heard the wind sound. The fuck is that about?
Okay, to be fair, the early game combat in that game is actually brainless. Like you don't need to think at all.
I didn't. I put on auto, and every time I got in a fight, I made a cup of tea. Like, but the thing is, the plot was really cool. I wanted to like it, but I was like, it's so boring.
I 100% agree with your take that Velvet is an amazing character.
Yeah, she's really cool. She's interesting, cool. But her head is so round. What's that about? I mean, I've got quite a round head. I'm aware of that. But like, I'm also not a protagonist in an anime girl game. So maybe I should be. So the combat does get better. Is it worth sticking with? Should I stick with it?
If you don't enjoy the combat as it is, you're not going to enjoy it later. Because if you don't understand the combat system, when you have the other characters in your party, it's going to get way worse. Velvet is the easiest character to play. I
tried to understand the combat system. I didn't purposely avoid the combat. Like, I've tried to understand, but I was like, what you're saying is I can link it so that each button is an escalating combo. So each button is a combo button, right? So obviously I'm going to put all my most advanced attacks on one button and just spam that. So I was like, I must be misunderstanding this because that seems stupid. So then I went online and watched some YouTube videos where people basically went, they're all combos. So you can just, and I was like, well, that's not fun. That's just pushing X 4 times and then pushing X like 4, 4, 4. Like 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I was like, that's it. Just tapping X rhythmically.
Okay, Velvet is a weird character because Velvet's attack. Okay, so all of the characters play very differently. You had Rokuro in your party, didn't you? Yeah,
I don't know who that is.
That was the ninja guy. The samurai guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
You probably noticed he played very, very differently to the way Velvet did. And was fucking awful to play, probably.
Well, I wanted to play Velvet because I actually liked her, and I was like, I want to play the lead character. The character I'm exploring the world with is the one I want to play with, right? So like, that makes sense to me. But yeah, I really wanted to, because I like collecting all the little floating cat soul things. That was cool.
So
and I like the setting.
That ability system is basically fundamental to making the combat actually playable later in the game. So your aim is to set up your combos so you can build up that gauge as quickly as possible. The thing with Velvet is all of her attacks build up that combo gauge, whereas other characters, some of their abilities are like do a stun or do a poison, things like that. Velvet does have things like that, but her main thing is building up that gauge. But when you get to people like... Actually, Laphicet is really bad to play. That's going to be the caster. A lot of his attacks are like incredibly slow. It's a caster and a spectacle fighter that plays like it's in like WoW or something. So there are like attacks that have a 5-second build up to use, and it just doesn't work in the combat system. I think the only character that plays well in my mind is Eleanor, who comes in way later because she kind of plays like Velvet does.
Yeah, so I mean, I know you said you enjoyed it, but it sounds like you hate it.
No,
You
I
realise
enjoy.
that.
Okay, I enjoy playing Velvet. Velvet makes the game fun. Anyone else can go fucking die. I don't care about them. They're also I just like the story. The story is what held me.
I kind of think that sometimes in JRPGs, not often, but some JRPGs, Tales of Berseria being one of them, I feel like it should be a mode where combat is auto-resolved in a very quick cut.
That's
so,
called beginner mode.
Done. I feel like that, because I wanted the story, but I didn't want the combat. I missed out on the story because I hated the combat. So like, just don't bother with combat. Just literally just auto-resolve in like 2 seconds. Just give me a cutscene that just goes win, lose, done. Or you took this much damage, you lost these many items, you know? Because like I think that'd be it. But yeah, it just for me, like I can't stick with a game where I hate the combat for the story. When I'm going to be doing most of the time, I'm going to be doing combat, not story. So,
well, the thing you said about the combat being pretty, that's usually what holds me in a combat system. I can ignore a shitty combat system if it looks good.
Yeah, it looks like I'm doing loads. Look, I look amazing. Yeah,
and then when you go into like Velvet's like beast form, everything gets crazy.
Yeah, it did look cool. I must admit. I haven't uninstalled it. I've kept it installed because I'm like, I want to go back to it, but yeah, you've not said anything that's made me think the combat would be.
If you don't like the combat as it is, you will hate it. Once you learn it, and if you like that system, you'll enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, the thing with how you're explaining the combat system, if that's how you look at the combat system, you will never enjoy it because it's gonna feel like that the entire game.
I mean, I feel like I look at the combat system like that because it is like that. Like once you break it down to mechanics, that's exactly what it is. It's a combat. It's a combat.
You also just don't have many abilities to actually put in those slots. Later on, you actually do have a lot of stuff where you might want to have different things on the different chains. Where you might want to do a combo that starts XX and then you want to go triangle triangle or something.
No, I get that, but yeah, I could see the appeal of it, but it seems like I spend more time planning my combat than doing my combat. I would like to understand that, and the JRPG I played before that was Ys 8, the Lacrimosa of Dana, which is like very fluid, and even though it's more simplistic, it's fluid and fun. So to go from that to over to Tales of Berseria, I was like, not really for me, you know.
Berseria probably has the best combat system I've played in the franchise. If you go to the earlier games, it's way worse. Like, someone's gonna tell me Zestiria has a great combat system. I think they're wrong, but yeah.
It's like, no, you don't want to do. No, you're wrong. They're wrong. They're wrong.
Yeah, Geese looks. Yeah, I think I've had this on my radar for a while. I just haven't.
Yeah, the Lacrimosa of Dana is like the best JRPG I've ever played. It's fucking great. It's got a great plot, excellent escalation, fun character. It's not a game about saving the world. It's about getting off an island. Like it does escalate past that, but like the objective of the characters is pragmatic and reasonable from the start. It's not like I'm going to take down the government to get revenge for my brother. You know, it's none of that shit. It's just literally like we're dealing with problems as they occur because we want to stay alive, and it's relatable in a way that JRPGs usually aren't. And as it escalates beyond that, by that point you're already invested in their lives, and you know, and it gives you time to get on board. And then you've got interesting environmental puzzles, interesting set of characters. The progression is the gatewaying is done so that you need certain items to progress. So you've got a bit of Metroidvania stuff going on, and it's essentially the perfect JRPG in my opinion.
I guess actually you would have gotten far enough in Berseria to sort of work out where the plot was sort of going, taking down the leader of the church, defeating God. General JRPG stuff.
It's a JRPG. It's like it starts off with I've stubbed my toe and ends with let's kill God.
Yeah.
I mean that's how JRPG. Why JRPGs have to end with killing God? Like, and sometimes you play a JRPG and it's like we've got this problem, and it's like I've got to find some bread, and it's like in order to find the bread I must defeat Satan. It's like whoa, just buy some butter. Just go to the shop. No, we will take on the hell itself. It's like no, stop it, JRPGs. You don't always have to defeat God.
That's why I really enjoy Kingdom Hearts, because it fully embraces that. Like, the first game, you're like, how many times can we say fucking darkness in this game? Oh, okay, we've killed a guy who's trying to, like, take over the door to light. Oh, King Mickey's in the door. Okay, turns out there's 2 Keyblades now. Oh, there's time travel. What? Why is there time travel? Why is the... Okay, so here's this new dude. We don't know who he is. Rocks. Oh, he's actually Sora, but Sora lost his heart. Now he's like sore as nobody. Oh, okay, now we have the same antagonist as the first game, but now it's the nobody rather than the heartless version. Oh, third game's here. Oh, everyone is the same person. Literally everyone is Xehanort. Xehanort came from the past, he came from the future, he came from like taking over someone's body. What is happening? I don't know.
I saw a video that said Kingdom Hearts lore as fast as possible, and it was 2 hours long. I was like, I looked at it, I was like, have I missed it? Is that 2 minutes? I did that thing where I cleaned my glasses and came back to it, and I was like, no, that's a 2 hour video. And like that, I was like, no, that sounds amazing, but I want no part of it.
No, Kingdom Hearts, okay. It's a game where if you don't understand anything that's happening, it's still fun. Because the combat is really fun. It's Smash X to win, but it's beautiful combat, and if you play on the harder difficulties, you actually do have to like think about what you're doing. But if you care about the lore, you can get very deep into this game that makes no sense. That Nomura just makes stuff up as he goes. This is what would happen if the Final Fantasy games all connected to each other.
I'd be up for that. I'd be so fucking like, you know what? I don't know if I said this last time I was on your show, right? But like Final Fantasy has no business being the #1 JRPG. The Yeast games are better in every way you can measure, and no one's fucking heard of them. It's like so weird, but they're so good, and it's like I don't understand. And all the lore kind of connects in ways that make sense because they're all essentially the premise is that all of the Yeast games are entries in a diary that someone has found. So someone's reading the diary of this ancient hero. So you don't really know when the game's actually set. It's all done, every game is a different flashback, essentially. So they can jump around time and they don't need to explain things, but they can also, if they want, draw on other games without any problems. And that frees them up to do stuff. The Yeast games are so much better than Final Fantasy. On every level of the visuals, obviously, because Final Fantasy games are fucking beautiful. The Yeast games look like they were stood on. So,
Yeah, I'm looking at screenshots right now. It looks like an early PS3 game.
It does. They look awful, but they're great. So, But they haven't got the budget of Final Fantasy.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, get Kingdom Hearts. I'm looking at Kingdom Hearts screenshots, and there's some JRPG folks and Donald Duck.
Yeah,
so why?
Donald Duck and Goofy are like in the main party. And
why?
Because Disney.
Why?
The Disney stuff doesn't matter. It actually literally does not matter to the plot. It's just like, hey, Disney Worlds. Basically, you just go around the universe saving Disney problems. Like in the first game, you visit Wonderland to go see, it's Alice in Wonderland. Then you go to meet Tarzan. Then you go meet Jack Skellington. Then you go meet. Where else do you go? Oh, you go meet Pinocchio. And literally none of the Disney stuff matters. It's the Final Fantasy characters and Nomura's acid trip that is the main story.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
You've explained Kingdom Hearts, and I'm more confused than I was before.
No, that's how it feels. Yeah, that's how it feels. The more you know about this game, the less it makes sense.
I'm a Kingdom Hearts. Also, on one of the screenshots, Daffy Duck is a blue Cyclops.
You mean Donald Duck?
I don't know the duck. I don't know the duck.
Yeah. In the third game, you go to the Monsters Inc. world.
Right.
Yeah.
Course. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also feel like I just got a little bit of shade thrown for not knowing my ducks, which is I don't know how to deal with that.
But no, so yeah, Kingdom Hearts. Okay, I'll explain one part of Kingdom Hearts that just makes the game just nonsense. So there was a game called Dream Drop Distance, which was
I need to get my notepad. Sorry.
So this game was sort of important because the main character and his best friend, they were like trained to become the new Keyblade Masters.
What's the Keyblade Master?
The Keyblade is like the main important weapon. Like all the important people have Keyblades. It's a key on a sword. That's all you need to know about a Keyblade. It unlocks things.
This is how my mom feels when I talk about Star Trek, isn't it?
I think so.
Okay.
Anyway, yes, Keyblades. And you go to the sleeping worlds, which are like the regular worlds, but they've been like absorbed by the darkness. Just accept the darkness is just like the blanket term for everything bad. So you go to these things, you do things in worlds, you leave, you become a Keyblade Master, or you don't become a Keyblade Master. All that stuff happens. But this game wasn't like super important to the plot. until a mobile game came out called Kingdom Hearts Union Cross. Now, when Union Cross finished, it turns out that all of like the enemies in the sleeping worlds were actually like the people from the past, like, and they've been sent to sleep in the sleeping world so they can, like, I don't know, fight in a future Keyblade War or something. So throughout that entire game, basically you're just murdering children, and you're like super happy about it because Tetsuya Nomura.
I mean,
Kingdom Hearts. As I said, this is what would happen if Nomura was allowed to make all the Final Fantasy games connect to each other.
I think at some point my brain stopped being able to process anything you was talking about then. I just was like, nope, I literally can't do it.
Yeah, you don't want me to start explaining a Xehanort and what Norting means then.
I'm enjoying that you follow this, that you're actually like, you're on board with the lore of this. I'm enjoying that. You're fired up as fuck. It makes me curious. They're not out on the Switch though, are they? I can't get these games on the Switch, can I?
No, this actually pissed me off. There is a PC release, and it uses really shitty DRM, and you can't run it on Linux.
Is it not on?
It's on the Epic Store.
Is it not on GeForce Now?
Maybe, I don't know.
I'm gonna check. I'm gonna go to GeForce Now right now and type in Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom.
I wanted to play it on Linux, but the DRM, yeah, it's just a mess.
Okay, it's not on GeForce Now.
Maybe one day.
Yeah, not on GeForce Now. Pretty soon, all the games in the world will be on GeForce Now. I'm waiting for when GeForce Now goes, fuck it, we'll have PlayStation 2 games as well. Yeah, so
I didn't really care about GeForce Now a while back. So why should I care about GeForce Now? What's so great about it?
So streaming as a thing with streaming as an implementation. Okay, now let's pretend that streaming as an implementation is perfect. So in the theory of a perfect connection, but let's pretend for the sake of argument, right?
Okay.
So there's a game you want to play. It's 100 gig. You don't want to install it, right? So you own it already on Steam. So you open up GeForce Now in a web page, and you type in the name of the game. And it goes, oh, this game is available on GeForce Now. And you go, I've got it on Steam. So you tick the little box that says Steam. You hit play. It logs into your Steam account where the game is instantly available, and suddenly you're playing the game, right? And then the downsides being that it's not perfect all the time, and there is sometimes some artifacting and some latency. Not as much as you think. I played pretty much the whole of Biomutant in GeForce Now. Like, it was fine. And the other problem is it's limited to 1080p. So you're
That's
not
fine. I just use 1080p anyway.
Yeah, it's a shame it's limited because like it's more the ultra wide resolutions and stuff. It'd be nice if it supported those. But yeah, I'm essentially stuck at 1080, which is a nightmare on my screen. Not a nightmare, but yeah, it's a problem on my screen. But yeah, and mostly the latency is good enough that I don't really notice it most of the time. It's no worse than playing on a controller, like on like an Xbox or something. It's fine. I wouldn't want to play Counter-Strike on there, but you know, for a third-person single-player game, that's fine. But GeForce Now, the joy of it is, unlike other services, with Stadia or with one of the other services, I have to buy the game on their service. But with GeForce Now, they are owned for whatever it is a month. It used to be £5 a month. They're giving you access to their infrastructure, but you supply your own games. So I buy a game on Steam, I play on GeForce Now, and I don't have to give them any. I've got no buy-in with them, right? Like I don't like it. If they go away, it doesn't matter. I still own my games, and that gives you more confidence with it, as well as lets you use the wider Stream infrastructure, which makes life easier for Linux people. Because you know all our friends are on Steam, and if you've ever tried to play a multiplayer game where one person's on Steam and one person's on Origin, you're like, nope, that's not working. Whereas GeForce Now lets you use Steam, so you don't have that problem. It's not a separate platform like that. But it's good because like it's been getting better, and genuinely it's about like I played pretty much the whole of Biomutant in it, and it was fine. Like I have no problems with it. I've only played Cyberpunk in GeForce Now as well because it's like 2 million gig, and I don't want to keep it installed, so I just use GeForce Now. It's fine. It's not for everyone because obviously a lot of people have got connections that can't do it, and a lot of people live in areas where it's not available. But it is available in my area, and my connection is good enough. And if a game's on GeForce Now, I don't really bother installing it usually because I can just play it on GeForce Now. Yeah, so it's nice, and it's a reasonable price, and as much as people talk about the future of streaming being bad, GeForce Now is good because it's straddling that, because you still own your game. So all the arguments against streaming don't exist.
Well,
it's just,
own your games as much as you really own your games with Steam.
Well, I mean, I've always made the argument that you don't own a game. Like unless like I own my Switch games because I hold them in my hand, right?
Sure.
Like they're cartridges. But if you don't own a disc or a cartridge, you don't own the game.
Sure.
And Steam, the Steam subscriber agreement is called that because you're a subscriber to ownership of the game. Like you don't actually, it's not your game really, right? But yeah, GeForce Now, like people don't want to buy games on Stadia in case Stadia closes, right?
Yeah.
Well, if GeForce Now closes, you've still got your games, so it doesn't matter. So it's better for that reason. But again, there's a lot of, if you've got a really powerful PC running Windows, you'll probably won't need GeForce Now. But if you're a Linux and there's some games you're like I really like, I know it's terrible, but I really like that game Paladins, right? Really like Paladins. It's fun. It's like Overwatch, but not. And it's kind of fun. It's trash, but I like it. That just doesn't work on Linux. Just you can't get it working because the DRM, the anti-cheat thinks that Wine is a cheat program. So I just use GeForce Now for it, and it's fine. And I've played like 70 hours in GeForce Now, and I've never really had a problem. But at the same time, I'm fairly sure if I played Counter-Strike in it, I'd know the latency was there.
Yeah, no, that's not a game I would want to play on that, or anything where latency is important, like a rhythm game, for example.
You know what? The rhythm games are interesting because rhythm games, this was true with Thumper on Stadia, right? They adjusted the latency in real time to account for network latency. So they literally tweaked the latency. So it felt like there was no latency even when there was, because the game tweaked the timings to make it to account for that. I'm like, that's fucking smart. That is so fucking smart. That is exactly what we should be doing with these games.
Yeah, that's actually, I didn't think of that. I feel that most games you can do that because there's like different latency with your audio setup and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, like in the case, I mean, GeForce Now tends not to have special optimizations for their platform. They're just introducing that into games recently.
Right.
But yeah, like I'm fairly certain most people, if you've got a good connection and you're running your monitor in native 1080, if I was to load up a game on GeForce Now and sit you at my desk and you just used it, I don't think you tell the difference between GeForce Now and local. I don't think most people can tell the difference. Like if you're good enough at a game, or it's something where server tick's going to really matter and stuff, there are times when you might tell. But like most games, most people aren't going to tell. Like genuinely. Like when I was playing Biomutants, I just forgot I was on GeForce Now more than once. I was just like, oh shit, I'm on GeForce Now, yeah. It wasn't something I thought about. But then you have the problem where you're streaming and all of a sudden someone in your house looking at my daughter decides she wants to watch Crunchyroll at 1 o'clock in the morning while I'm fucking fighting the boss and my frame rate just tanks. I'm like, no! So yeah, stuff like that happens. But yeah, other than the caveats, but like when it works well, I've played 100 hours or so of I think it might be less actually. But the only time I've ever played Warhammer Vermintide 2 is on GeForce Now. I've never played it not on GeForce Now, and I've never really had a problem. Like it's never been an issue. Sometimes on a Friday night when it's prime time and the servers are really busy, it'll be a soft image because it's obviously they're saving bandwidth on their end. But it's not soft to the point of unplayable. I've never not been able to play because I'm on GeForce Now, right? And that game again doesn't work on Linux, so it's it's a perfect one to play.
That's that sounds fairly compelling because I've only heard I think the GeForce Now model works way better than the Stadia model, that's for sure. Because all of the other there have been streaming services in the past besides Stadia, and they all had the Stadia model.
On live, yeah.
Actually, one of the I don't know if you heard about this. I am on Twitter probably too much. The dev for Terraria originally wasn't going to bring the game to Stadia because his account, like with Google Play, just got banned out of nowhere. He's like, fuck you guys, then I'm just not going to do it. I think he eventually decided to do it because Terraria makes...
Well, he made it too public, so they had to fix that problem. So they probably gave him a lot of money to bring it. So yeah, they probably paid him off at that point because it was bad publicity for them.
That was a very small dev team and it's made a shitload of money. It'll work for the rest of their lives.
Yeah. You say that, but like if someone's pissed off and you offer them like £1 million, they're suddenly less pissed off.
Yeah.
No matter how much money you got in the bank.
So how much did Terraria make? I think I looked this up a while back.
Sold like 1 billion copies, didn't it? Did it sell like 1 billion copies recently?
Probably. No, I think you think of Minecraft. Apparently, according to this year, Terraria sold 35 million copies.
Okay, 35 million. Okay, I thought it was more than that.
Yeah, Minecraft is... Microsoft could literally just never do anything else besides just sell Minecraft copies and they'd be fine.
They don't, do they? I can't think of a single other Microsoft product.
Hey, they've got the new Windows thing coming.
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
I actually don't know anything about this. Oh, what the fuck is this? I just looked at it. What is this? I just looked at a picture of the Windows 11, whatever it's gonna be called.
Oh, did you not hear about this?
Wait, you didn't?
No, have you not heard about this?
I heard about this. No, I heard about this. I haven't looked at it because I just don't care.
I did. I was interested. I was interested for a couple of reasons. Okay, so this is where we go off the games and it goes all serious, right? Okay, prepare yourself, audience.
Prepared.
I've been saying, when I said this originally, it was edgy and it was considered to be nonsense. But now when I say it, it's reasonable, and people go, "Well, everyone's saying that." Well, yeah, I was saying it first, you fucks, right? It's only a matter of time before. At the moment, you've got Windows, you've got the WSL, and they'll swap them over at some point, right? They'll just make it so it's a Linux and it's emulating Windows, where at the moment it's Windows emulating Linux. They'll slowly swap that over, and then it'll become a distro of Linux, right? I honestly, when I heard that was going Windows 11, I was like, "Is this the moment? Is this when they're swapping the kernel, they're swapping the order of things?" I was like, "If it is, that's fucking interesting." So I went and looked at it. No, it's not. It's not. It's just all they've done is put a new skin on Windows 10 and called it Windows 11 for marketing reasons. Right? Yeah, that's it.
The only thing I'm seeing, obviously it's just early screenshots. The only thing I'm seeing right now is it's Windows 10 with like a start bar in the center for some. Like they tried to do like the macOS sort of taskbar, but then kept the Windows start bar for some reason, or start menu.
Yeah, I think they've modernized it, and because a lot of design trends, especially stuff that GNOME is doing as well as Mac, there's a lot of design trends about centering things, so that regardless of how big your screen is, that centerpiece is always in the center. So the geometry doesn't change, which helps you build up muscle memory, as well as like your eyes know. Because if you suddenly have a wider monitor, instead of your eyes going here, they're going here now, right? So to put things in the center is better UX, right? It's better experience to have things always be in the expected place by centering them no matter how wide your screen is. And also, as we get infinitely scalable width, because some people I'm an ultra wide, some people are on a super ultra wide, and it's only a matter of time before the super ultra wide is a thing, right? So if you have your start bar way over there, you've got to take your mouse and be like this to get to your start button, right? To get over there. So put it in the center, that's naturally where your mouse is going to rest. So there are reasons for that make sense to me from a UI point of view. And also, adding rounding corners globally sounds like a small thing, but that puts it more in line.
I didn't even notice those. Oh, there are. Oh, wow.
Yeah. Because like if you look at any phone, if you look at my phone, I'm just to make sure I'm not showing anything on my phone here, I'm going to regret. So you put your phone there, right? So you got your phone, and you'll notice all phones have rounded corners, right?
Right.
Yeah. Right. So that design language then transfers over to Windows 11, so that when Windows 11 is running on Android devices or mobile devices, they can have an application like Excel on a mobile, and then when they put it on your desktop, your brain doesn't notice any difference. It feels comfortable, and that's a very subtle psychological thing they're doing there, which is smart, and I like it. It's clever, right? And it's good. It's good attention to detail for UX. I think the changes they've made are good, solid changes, right? But other than that, it looks like a refreshed skin on top of Windows 7. And
I would not be surprised if under the hood it is literally just Windows 10.
I mean, the kernel number's been released, right? Like you can see the kernel number. It's like 10.136 or something. It's like they haven't even incremented the version number massively to reflect it. So it's not a fundamental change. The article here is actually the one I read earlier. They're bringing back desktop widgets and stuff. Which is something that Microsoft have been in love with the idea of sidebars and widgets, but never quite nailed it. They're not.
Oh yeah, they did this on Vista, didn't they?
Yeah. But the sidebar on Vista was kind of smart. But the problem is with sidebars is it occupies physical space I want to use for my applications. So then they slide it away, and then it's like, when do you slide it back? GNOME has got the right idea by embedding that information in the top bar, and then when you press the super button, it gives you an overview mode. That's a better way of doing it, where Windows 7 started off with this, where you could put Windows tab key instead of Alt tab, and it put you in an overview mode, right? The problem with it is that didn't present itself as a separate mode so much as an overlay on top of it.
Right.
So if they nail that a bit more, I think that there's a lot of design stuff. It seems like Microsoft has very suddenly gone, oh shit, we can do this. And they've suddenly got good at the very little things which affect the experience overall. And I think that's because they're taking Mac more seriously, and they suddenly have to care more, right?
Yeah.
Because even Linux now is pretty, right? And all we used to be nerdy. We used to be a nerdy hole filled with filled with terminals, and suddenly we've got GNOME and KDE even, like Plasma even.
Well, I'll argue that GNOME doesn't look good, but that's just more of a personal preference.
Well, no, it doesn't. Like, no, it doesn't look good to us because I'm on XFC. I'm on BSPWM right now with neon pink borders.
Sure,
right?
Yeah.
I know full screen everything, regardless, right? And then my other machine over there, I'm using XFCE on, right? Because it's trash and I like it because it looks like Windows 95, right? I like it. Like, I'm not after that. And to people like us that live in Linux and we pipe things together with the terminal, we don't care about looks, but the masses do.
Right.
And one of the things about GNOME is if you're one of the people that cares about design, if you're an artiste who cares about design and cares about the flow of information and stuff, GNOME's really good. And the new version of Plasma's getting better as well. But GNOME is like out the box is just perfect for that, right? And Windows and Microsoft now look around and they go, shit, we've got GNOME on Linux where the fucking nerds was, and it looks really good. And then the other side, we've got OS X 10, 11, 1 or whatever it is, and they look fucking great. And then they look back at Linux, they go, oh shit, elementary OS is a thing. And then they look back at Mac and go, oh, well, they can install desktop environments as well now, you know. And Microsoft have to answer that, right? Because like one of the questions they must be receiving, because I see it on forums a lot, is how to get GNOME working on Windows, right? And they're like, we're giving them tools to make us useless. We're like training them not to use our tools. So they have to start caring about it. They don't have a choice. I would think if I had to bet, I would say that they've probably made the UI modular, which is what's bringing about the version increase, so that in the future they can start using other desktop environments. I've been saying for ages. And again, back when I said this originally, it was considered to be nonsense, and now it seems very reasonable. But like, it's only a matter of time before Microsoft Windows is a distribution of Linux with built-in emulation. That's just a matter of time before Microsoft make their own version of Wine that's perfect. DRM, kernel hooks, all of that stuff in their own, and it's just a binary blob called Windows. And you install the Linux distro, which is the Windows, or you pull the Windows package down on another distro, and you get their UI, and you can launch Microsoft applications. It's only a matter of time, and that seems obvious now because it's very expensive to make an OS. It's it's pointless to maintain an OS because you think every time a driver comes out, they've got to deal with that one department, right? Like one department has to deal with that. Where in Linux, a manufacturer makes a driver, they push it upstream, the cogs turn and it comes out the other end. There's still individuals involved, but there's all these hundreds and thousands of people working on it. Microsoft has to pay those people to do it, right? So they're already, and as you said, they're making so much money on Minecraft. Why fuck with this? This is not a good money spinner for them. The only reason they care about it is to maintain dominance. And if they can maintain dominance by you making Windows a UI, like an interface, and then putting Wine on top, they don't have a choice. They have to do it long term. It's just the only thing that makes sense from a business point of view. Like capitalism forces them to use Linux because it's free. They don't have a choice. But yeah, add all the design stuff to this, and I think someone in Microsoft is making the prep for that switch, and I think this is the first step, and that will be separating the UI from the OS.
So you're effectively just making Windows operate the exact same way they have their Xboxes operate anyway, where it's just a VM. You have your base OS and then VM.
Yeah, I think it'll be. I think that it'll be a desktop environment, and it will be locked down to the point where if you want to use their compatibility, you have to use their UI. That will be. We'll hack around that. Let's face it. Of course, yeah. It'll essentially spin up Docker containers with hardware access and some emulation, some hypervisor stuff, and then you'll run an application on your Linux, and it'll just pull in the Windows VM, and just like the Windows VM will be like a static thing. It just accesses that to run it. And people go, that's not possible because this they've got the source code for Windows. They can make this happen. There's no reason why they can't. They've got all the code. They can do it, and it's cheaper to do that and then not be responsible for security patches long term, right? Because then you let the Linux take care of the security for free because that's not cheap, right? That's not cheap. You can even have them supported by your own developers, right? But you can say,
well, they could always make like what look like good donations to the Linux Foundation. It's just like, here's a small donation relative to what Windows is actually getting from this, but it looks good.
Yeah, if they've got 10,000 developers, which they probably have globally, Microsoft, and they can drop 1,000 developers, they can still donate like £10,000 a month to Linux and be saving money on tax. Like they could absolutely save money by donating more money and having less developers. And it's never good when developers are out of work, but they'll find other jobs. You know, it's like they'll find other jobs. It'll be fine. But yeah, I think long term they have to move this way. Now, I think that I would be surprised if we don't see that start to happen, because there must be. I mean, the reason they've gone from 10 to 11 is simply marketing, right? It's because Mac have got OS 10, right? OXX, whatever it is, and they want a bigger number. That's the reality, right? They want to move that way. And if you're going to have a sudden change of UI, give people a warning by telling the version number. Then they won't be like, oh, they've changed it. They'll go, oh, I've got a new version. It's changed. But I don't think they'll get away with changing it again, because they changed it from Windows 3.1 to Windows 95 layout. We had that for years, and they tweaked it with Vista, and everyone hated it. And they came up with Windows XP, and everyone loved it. And then Windows 7 was an evolution of that, and they liked it. And they tried Windows 8 with that Metro UI, which people basically was rioting in the streets over, which was fucking funny.
I never use 8. I only use 8.1.
Yeah, and now they've gone back to with 10. They went back to a more standard design.
Yeah, it seems like they've taken 7 but modernized the UI.
Yeah, and then with 11, they've made it seems like a small shift to us because we're tech savvy, but to someone who works in Office and only uses Excel, they're like, shit, my start button's in the middle. All these little things that to us are like nothing will be quite large changes. I don't think they can get away with another fundamental UI shift.
Well, so I was looking through screenshots. You can put it on the left side if you really want to.
Oh yeah, but no one will. The defaults are king. No one will mess with defaults. And a lot of Office employees, my own office included, like a lot of people who work in offices and stuff, they don't have the ability to change any setting in Windows, right? So they are stuck with defaults. So then defaults will be what 90% of users are going to use, and you know, and most people will, if they're stuck with it at work, won't change it at home. Yeah, that's the same experience. So yeah, I think the UI defaults are important, and yeah, I think that I don't think they can get away with another change. I think they're stuck here now. They're stuck with. They're not going to get away with it again. And I'll be surprised if there's not people complaining about this one, to be honest.
Oh, that would be complaining for sure.
But ultimately, like, we've talked a lot about Windows. And it's funny because I don't think either of us actually give a shit, do we? It's
not
like,
really, no. I'm never going to run it.
Yeah.
Oh, you're saying before about the...
You know what? You say you're never going to run it, right? But if all of a sudden Windows is just a Linux distro, right? Yeah, and you can play all the games on Windows and it's just Linux. It's going to be hard not to install it at some point. You're going to go, fuck it. Yeah, let's just make life easy. Let's just, you know. I don't know. I think there's a good chance Windows can increase dominance by switching to Linux. I think a lot of nerds like us might go, fuck it, let's do it. If you can put BSPWM, if you can install Microsoft Linux, right, and then throw BSPWM or whatever desktop you're using on top of it, so you've got all the tools you currently use. You might have to learn a new package manager, but other than that, it's
they've got WinGet now, and that's becoming usable.
Oh, is that like a package manager?
Yeah, they've introduced a package manager because developers actually wanted one, and they were like, "Oh yeah,
makes sense." Yeah,
yeah, we should probably do that.
Like, yeah. So if you got Microsoft Linux and you can do everything you can normally do, and the bonus of running all the games, why wouldn't you?
Actually, the thing with WinGet is they didn't actually do it. There's questions of whether what they did's actually legal, because there's another program here was called AppGet, maybe, not AppGet, I think. And they took it's eerily similar to that application, but it's proprietary. Whether they stole the code or just re-implemented it, don't know.
I mean, depending how that was licensed, they might be legally allowed.
Yeah, I'm not sure how it was licensed,
right? But yeah, it's like, yeah, and you know, yeah, it's complicated. But yeah, no, Microsoft are not the enemy they once were, right? And that's a result of the capitalistic game, right? Because it's like it's not in their best interest to be our enemy anymore, right? It's in their best interest to work with us because we're winning. Like, you know, I say we as like we're a team, but you know what I mean? Like the Linux way of doing things is becoming the standard way for smart people to do things. So Microsoft it's not in their best interest to fight with us. They're not the enemy they once were. I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't trust them as far as I can throw them.
Well, I don't exactly... My problem with running Windows 10 is the fact that they're still going to have whatever the Windows 11, whatever they end up calling it. I don't think they're going to get rid of the surveillance stuff. That's my big problem with it.
Well, no, but once they become a Linux distro, we'll just have an AUR package called Windows, and you pull it down, and that's your desktop environment. That's all they'll do, and they'll just purge all that from the source code, or they'll isolate it in a VM, or going forward, like, I wouldn't run Windows because I don't want to run Windows, right? But if Windows is Linux, Linux is editable and testable and hackable, right? So you can, of course, fix these problems. And it'll only be a matter of time before someone makes that a standard script. Like, you install Windows, run a script, and it fixes all the telemetry stuff, right? But at the same time, for me personally, I want to trust my OS provider. Like when I pull down a package in Arch, I don't trust that because it's from Arch. Where if I see Microsoft, I'm going to go, what are you up to, you shifty fucks?
That's fair.
Yeah. But you know, overall, I think I don't think you can say I'd never run Windows anymore, because I think at some point you'll just be making life hard for yourself by not installing their shit.
I think that's the most compelling argument for why Microsoft would do that, because I've heard some things about like, oh, Microsoft's going to swap out the kernel for Linux, and they don't really give a proper explanation for why. It's just like, well, if they did that,
I mean, they have to. Yeah,
if they did that, it'll just break everything. But that, an explanation of like translation layer or having a VM or something like that. I mean,
Proton has proven that translation layers can be exactly fast enough to get the job done, right? Like, exactly fast enough. So just do it the other way. All they do, and when they've got access to the source code, we haven't got the access.
Well, yeah,
we don't have the access
Microsoft
to
could make a
source
perfect
code.
version of Wine if they had access with the source code.
Yeah, and they could do it in about a week. They could go from nothing to a perfect version in a week, because they would just throw a shitload of developers at it and all the source code they'd ever want. Because look how good Wine is, and DXVK and Proton, right? We did that by reverse engineering over the period of years, right? You imagine someone who understands the Microsoft kernel stuff, how it all wired up, or a team of people, and go, we want to. I would guess that. In fact, I would already say it exists. I bet somewhere in Microsoft Projects division, they've made their own Wine. I bet you it exists, because it's going to be trivial for them to do with source code. It can't. I mean, it's just going to be easy. Not easy as in, I could do it, but easy for very smart developers like Microsoft employed to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if they do it, it's not bad for us. I mean, we just win at that point, right? We just won. Like, Linux has just won at that point.
Well, you're going to have, there's going to be the people who, there's going to be the holdouts people who are like, free software or die.
Yeah, and I respect that, right? I respect that. That's a totally reasonable stance to have. Like, when we're talking about no tucks, no bucks, that's not a stance that makes sense, because you're arguing like this proprietary thing is worth more than this proprietary thing, and they're both worthless.
My problem with no tucks, no bucks, especially in the case of Steam, is when you run a game through Proton, the dev knows you're running it in Proton, and they know there are people running it on Linux. If you don't buy the game, they don't know there's anyone who wants to buy it.
Oh, the argument of no tucks, no bucks has never made sense to me, because like if I'm running Linux, right, and I buy a Windows game, and then I force it through the force of fucking sheer nerdery to make it work, that is the more Linux way of doing things. Like, begging developers to port a game is not the Linux way of doing things. That's the Microsoft way of doing
Especially
things.
In the fucking game usually works worse as the port.
Yeah, but like as the hacker-minded tinkerer, we take things that aren't supposed to work and we hit them with a wrench until they work, right? Proton is the Linux solution we all want, and the people that take a stance against it are not. It's just not a smart. I know this is a bit insulting to the people who make it. If you make it as a personal moral choice that you only buy Linux games, that's your choice. But to preach that on Reddit, like, it doesn't make sense. It's not. It's like you're going to a developer, waste like 100 hours of dev time to make something that will sell once, and then you'll go tell people how shit Linux is. Or better option is go make it so it works in Proton. Be aware of Proton and make the Proton specifications, and just say to them, like, we're not making a Linux version, but I promise to keep it working in Proton.
Yes.
That's totally reasonable. That's a much more reasonable thing to ask them for.
Yeah, any developer who wants to put in that effort and make a good Linux version, I fully encourage you to do so. That's awesome. If you want to actually spend the time to do so.
You know what, though? I don't. I think no one should make a Linux version of a game. Like,
okay.
Because no. Because like, think about how much money. Think about a small development studio, right? So a good example of this, right? Let me check this actually before I start talking shit.
Okay.
Right? So I've been playing a game today.
Yes.
Called. Oh, fuck. That's a Linux game. Okay. So I was going to use the example of Luna's Fishing Garden, which is a game that's retailing for £6.29, right? Now, as it happens, they did make a Linux version, but my point was going to be, I've played that today. I didn't know whether or not it was a Linux native. I hit play, and that's all I did, right?
Oh, this looks really good. What the fuck?
Okay,
we'll talk about the game in a minute. Just go with your point, then we can talk about this game.
Like, they're a small studio, like 5 people. Like, obviously, in this case, they have Linux guys, they know what they're doing. But like, if you're a small developer with like 5 people on your team, why waste the dev time? Like, you're barely gonna, like, most small games aren't making enough money to feed the developers anyway. Why waste dev time unless you want to make it like don't bother.
No, that's my point. If you want to, that's my whole point. If you want to put in the effort and you're like, I just want to make, as like a point of principle, I want to make this game have a Linux binary. If you want to do that, go ahead. I don't want to discourage that.
Fine. Yeah, like if you want to do that, and also as a developer, you will learn a lot by doing that, and you will make you better at your job, right? And if you learn to make things with a multi-platform in mind from the first place, you go, I can export the binary out of Unity to Linux, to Windows, to Android, right? You can do what you can. Sorry, I've just had a DM from someone with the words "I found the nun," which brilliant. Sorry, a friend of mine's playing East Lucky Master of Dana. And I was like, "Did you find the hot nun?" And I'm just like, when you get a pop up that just goes, "I found the nun," it stops you mid sentence. Sorry, that was. But yeah, like it doesn't matter, right? Like if you want to do it because you can, and then you can export to Android to make, you're gonna be able to put your game anywhere. That makes you a better dev. But like if you've made a decision which makes this like not hard to port, just don't bother. Just don't bother. It's not worth it. Like as most gamers are in my position, I'm gonna go to Steam. I'm gonna hit play, and it's gonna play or not play. Yeah. And if it does play, I won't think about it anymore. If it doesn't play, I'll go to my options and I'll select Glorious Egg Rolls Proton, and then it'll play. Right? That's what I'll do. Right? That's the process. Although I found Steam Tinker Launcher recently, that's great. That thing's fucking great. I'll set that as my global Proton, and now it just automatically selects the right version, which is nice.
Oh.
But anyway, yeah. Have you found that?
No, I didn't know about that.
Oh, okay, so it's Steam Tinker Launcher. Have you found the site for it?
I found the GitHub.
Yeah, the GitHub's the best place. So basically, this is you install it, right? It comes up in Steam as like a compatibility layer, like Eggroll does, right? Select that, and what it does is it's got a crowdsourced database where it goes, oh, people like this version of Proton for this game, right? So I'll just automatically select the correct version of Proton. Fucking great. And it also does things like it's best, like this game is best to turn off eSync. So we've just done that for you. And when you launch the game, it pops a little pop-up that goes Steam Tinker Launcher, and then the game launches. If it doesn't launch or for whatever it doesn't work, you launch the game again. When you get the pop-up, you hit spacebar, and it opens the options menu. You can just change all the options, then launch it yourself. It's so fucking smooth. It's lovely. Definitely worth you making a video about.
Toxfu made a video about it. Oh, that's cool. Okay.
I made a video about it.
I'm looking at the list. Yeah, you made a video. Linux Gamecast made a video. Toxfu made a video as well. But I don't know if you know who I don't know if you know who Toxfu is. He's a very small guy.
Like literally little.
No, he's a very big man, but he's a very small channel. Tuxfoo. Tuxfoo.
I thought you said Tuxphil. I just imagine this man in it.
Actually, that's a good name.
Yeah, I just imagine this man in like a little suit. Okay, that's quite the beard, isn't it?
Yes, I respect the beard.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I'll
have a look at this and make a video on it.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's really cool. Yeah. Like I said, I'm not. I said in my video, I've only been using it a little while, so I'm not that savvy on it yet. But yeah, it seems like it's literally all the things I want out of Proton. It's pretty good. But yeah. But yeah.
Because that's the most annoying thing about Proton. When something doesn't work, it's like, okay, well, what do I do to fix?
No, sorry. I've just noticed my video is linked on their GitHub now.
Yes, it is.
Good, thank you, people of that. Thank you, whoever they are. Yeah.
I appreciate guys who do that. That's awesome. It's free advertising. You know.
Well, it's not just free. I mean, as you know, I'm not that hung up on views for my videos. I just kind of make stuff I want to make. And
no, I mean, it's free advertising for them. I know you don't really care about it.
It helps. In my case, like if someone links there, if someone's looking for a tool like this, there's a lot of other shit on my channel they'll find, and it helps spread messages about other people's projects as well. Because like they might not subscribe to me, but while they're looking at my page, they'll go, "Oh shit, there's a load of other stuff you guys talked about." So yeah, it helps like spread the word about smaller other projects. But yeah. And and if any of them want to sign up to my Patreon or send me a gift from my Amazon wishlist, they can welcome to do that.
Don't care about the views, but hey, send me some
gifts.
Bucks.
I care about the gifts. I care about.
Sure, yeah, fair enough.
I started talking about the Amazon wishlist, and people have actually sent me a bunch of books and stuff.
Oh,
and it's really cool because like I've set my wishlist up to not tell me when I get something sent. So sometimes I get home from work and there's like a gift.
Oh,
it's just really nice. I like it.
That's nice.
Cool. It's just nice. Yeah, nice.
I feel like people would bully me if I set up a wish list. My mods already bully me enough.
Yeah, mine's just got some like so much manga and stuff on there. There's just so many comic books are on there as well.
Yeah. Yeah, this looks really cool.
Are you on? Yeah, Steam Tinker Launcher.
Yeah.
Steam Tinker Launcher.
Yeah, it's fine.
When you install it, you have to go STL compat add on the command line and then relaunch Steam, and it just permanently, and you can just make it your default launcher then. Which is definitely the right way to do it, yeah. And then it'll just like, the only thing to remember is if you've already manually changed the version of Proton, it won't retroactively go and change that. So yeah, just remember that. But as long as you remember that, you're good. And it's even got a button, which is the most fantastic button. You can go purge container, so you can just purge the wine prefix. If you fucked everything up like I do a lot, and you have to go and do that, you can just like purge it with one button, which is
cool. Yeah, that would be very useful because the other day I was trying to play fucking Dead Cells. I was going to do a Dead Cells stream, and then the game updated, and it's like, missing audio library. Like, what are you missing audio library? I was trying to play the native version, and then
don't do that. The native version of that game is fucking terrible.
No, it was good for a while, and then I just clicked the newest version of Proton, works.
Yeah. Well, Steam Tinker Launcher should have, in theory, changed that for you. And just
I know that now.
Yeah. Also, if you choose Proton Experimental, it's always the newest version as well. You don't have to change the version of that, so you can always just use Proton Experimental. It's always the newest.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, this fishing game, it looks really cool. It looks very relaxing.
It's really cool. I've got a video come out about it tonight because it literally got released today, right? I'm just gonna,
I see a seal. It has a hat on.
It's a seal with a hat on, and he's so friendly, and he just wants to go fish for him. And I'm like, you've got a fishing rod. Get your own fish, you lazy fuck. And like, there's the little girl, and she fishes, right? She's sitting in a boat, and she fishes, right? And when she catches the fish, she goes, la, la, la. She got this little smile, and her head salt, and it's like, it's so fucking cute, but there's not much game there. So it's and when I looked at it, because I had the key before I knew the price, I was playing it, and I was like, if they're charging like over a tenner for this, it might be a stretch because like it's more of something to do than an actual game.
Yeah.
And then when it came out at £6.29, I was like, you guys know what you've got. And that's like it's an easy recommend at that price, right? Like unlike Biomutant. Sorry.
It looks like it's the fishing mechanic from Stardew Valley, and that's everything.
Literally, that's it.
Okay,
but
fair enough.
You plant trees on these little islands. You plant trees on, and you can get little mole things in boats to go and like harvest stuff for you, which is cute. And yeah, you just iteratively make the world wider and wider in each direction. And there's a really big fish that wants coconuts, and I was like, that's cool. I don't know why, but the big fish wants coconuts. So I was like, cool. And yeah, you just sort of like potter around the island collecting stuff and selling stuff, and then there's obviously like a little place where you have to like give the collector one of everything in the game, because of course there is.
Of course,
and it's just like it knows what it is. It's not trying to reinvent the wheel. It's just like really like wholesome and polite and exactly what you want. But the guys that made it also made Lazy Galaxy, which is one of the best clickers ever made. Like, it's just fucking great. It's a clicker where you have to build a planet up, and then you build an army up, and then you send your army into space to fight. And it's like a separate little mini game. Then you come back down to Earth and deal with the fallout. It's a very, very good clicker. And that's how I got, because I was hard recommending that game when it first came out, and they sent me a few emails and stuff. And then I've been lukewarm in every game they've made since then, and I felt pretty bad. So they sent me a key to go, we think you'll like this one. So I was like, okay. And yeah, I do. It's really good. I'm really enjoying it. It's really good. But they also made Merchants of the Sky, which also has a really big fish, but he doesn't want coconuts.
The fish god, I see.
Yeah, that's the same fish in Luna's Fishing Garden. I think all their games after Lazy Galaxy seem to be set in the same universe, and the fish is what ties them together. So yeah, but anyway, it's fine.
There's a carrot with a top hat. Okay. Yep.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's really fun. It's like, it's simple, but in a good way. Like, it's not simple like mean. It's simple in this interesting, wholesome way, and it's like, it's nice. It's just something to do. Because I feel like when you say a game's not got a lot of mechanics, it feels like an insult to the game, right? It's not. In this case, it's exactly what you want. Put your episode of Star Trek on one screen, play your stupid fishing game on the other screen, and just have a nice time.
Well, when the devs know that it's a game that's a simple game, they're not charging, some stupid amount for it.
Like £55 Biomutant, sorry.
You're not going to let that one go, are you?
Never! And as soon as it drops in price, I'm making a video where I just shout at the developers.
What would you consider a reasonable price for Biomutant?
35 at full price. So, very straightforward. No, I'm not even lowballing them. The game is a solid £35. The reason I came to that price is because a game that's very similar, and I would say better, it's £35. Like Kingdoms of Amalur, £35. Very similar game, cast your same itches. That's £35. Your game is more modern and it has a unique aesthetic. I'm happy to pay 35, and then I know because I'll pay 35. I mean, I pay 55. It's fine. But you know that when it drops in price, it'll drop down to 15 at that point. Whereas when it goes 55, it'll drop down in price to 35, and it's still overpriced.
Right.
So, yeah, it's just
right.
Yeah, so,
okay.
Sorry, I'm just had to keep coming back to lament the pricing.
No, it's fine. Yeah, well, I'm not paying. As I said, I'm not paying $100 for a fucking video game.
No, shouldn't. It's not also, and it's a good game. I had fun with it, but when I think about how much I paid for it and I got 30 hours out of it, like I don't know. And again, it's hard to say. Like there are games that I've paid money for, and I've played for 2 hours and thought like a good example of that is Sayonara Wild Hearts, right? Paid like £15 for it, and it's an hour long, and it was worth every fucking penny, right? Because it's like it's a wonderful game with a lot of interesting things and a beautiful thing to play through. That's what. So it's not always price versus hours, but in the case of Biomutant, I don't feel like there was a reason for them to ask for that much money for it, and that's why I'm giving them shit about it endlessly.
Yeah, that's fair.
Just thought I'd defend my point there for people who go, you spend more money than that on Vimto. I do, yeah. You spend £55 an hour on tea. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, well, that's important.
It's important. Very.
Were those lights there last time we did this?
No, the lights under the canopy there.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I added them recently because I thought when I was on my video, because with your eyes you can just see a string of lights and it looks a bit shit, but on camera it looks like the shelf is just glowing. It's quite nice.
Yeah,
you probably can't see. I've got a flamingo in there as well, which is fine.
Well, it's the same thing with this. This doesn't look that great if you look at it in person, but the camera does weird things with light. Yeah,
it enhances the light. Yeah, it's all right. It's the light looks cool. It looks cool, but yeah, and I put a smart plug-in, so when I tell the voice assistant to turn on the lights on and off, it turns the fairy lights at the back on and the lights under there. It's all with one hit. So ultimate laziness.
I like that. That's good. Well, that's why I have this control here.
Yeah, no, I'm too lazy to find remotes.
I can't leave those plugged in. One, because they're on my bed. I need to sleep there. Also, they might be a fire hazard. I don't know. I've got them off eBay for like dirt cheap. They're RGB floodlights.
One of the best things I ever did was separating my computer area from my bedroom. And if you've got place to do it, it's great because you can, like, my bedroom now is just filled with books and comics.
Yeah.
And a bed, obviously, because I'm a child. It's like a 14-year-old bedroom. But it's nice to be able to separate from the technology and just go, like, do something else.
Yeah, well...
I didn't think the only reason I did it was because I was running out of space in here, basically. So I was like, I'll separate the two rooms. Yeah, it's great to have the mental off switch. So you just, like, stop thinking about whatever you're doing and just get on with your day. So...
Yeah, well, I don't have my own place. This is just the room I've got roommates in the other rooms, so Is
one of your roommates your mom?
No.
Okay.
No, I haven't lived with my parents for like 5 years.
One of my roommates is my mom. She lives in my house. So like genuinely, like one of my roommates is my mom. So yeah.
I was actually looking at buying a place. Because it's not actually too expensive.
Did you not learn from the communist frog?
The communist frog.
Hippity hoppity abolish private property.
Oh, that one. Yes. No, man. ANCAP frog's where it's at. ANCAP frog.
No, yeah. I mean, I'm fortunate that I live in a field basically, I'm far away from everywhere, and and as I said, my mom lives with me, and I'm not moving house because it's a chore.
Yeah.
I've got an office and a bedroom. If I put a microwave in the corner, I don't really need to leave this room. I can microwave in the corner and a bucket to pee in. I don't have to leave this room ever, so that's fine for me.
At some point, I'll have my own place, and then I can have my microwave, my pee bucket. Then we'll be good. As long as this bed is just not behind me, that's what I need. Having these together, you honestly get awful sleep. Like I can't. I don't know how people do this forever.
Yeah, I mean, there's some like makeup bloggers and stuff. And also, don't judge me. I like makeup bloggers. It's relaxing to watch. They're pretty.
Fair enough.
Shut up. But some of them like their bedroom's like part of their set and stuff. And I'm like,
no.
Can you imagine having to get up and make your bed look like it's not covered in sweat and piss? Imagine the stress of that. Like I can't do it.
Well, the most I do with this bed is I just like make sure like this remotely
shake out, cover up the fleshlight.
Yeah, basically. No, that's in my drawer down here.
No, man, fleshlights are, Don't know. Fleshlights are gross, man.
Yeah, man.
And once you bought one and you realize they're gross, you want to get rid of it. Have you ever tried disposing of a fleshlight? Because there's no mechanism in society to do that. You can't. You're just stuck with it forever. You can't get rid of it.
Have you considered a bin?
That's the thing. You put it in the bin, and then like your mom opens the bin to put the next thing in. She's like, "Someone's throwing away a torch that looks like a vagina." And you go,
"But that's why you don't live with your mum."
My mom lives with me.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I'll give you that.
But I did actually, literally, in the end, just be like, "I'm putting something in the bin. It's in a bag. Don't look at it." And she went, "Why?" I went, "It's a sex toy." She went, "I don't want to know." I literally had that conversation, and I was like, "Oh, what do you do with it?" You know. But like, fleshlights are gross, man. Like you have to like nobody wants to like ejaculate, then have to clean up the cup. Like nobody think about the mechanics, people. Them things go moldy. Think about it. Like no people. No, it's gross. Don't do it.
Well, you know what? This is as good a place as any to end up the podcast.
Oh, this is where we start.
We started with me looking like I was jacking off, and end with you talking about fleshlights. What a great episode!
Disposal. I do not endorse the fleshlight. You'll never see fleshlight adverts on my channel. It's not happening. No, it's gross. They're disgusting.
How much would I have to pay you to do a fleshlight ad?
I mean, I'm pretty cheap. I sell out pretty low. But,
okay, well,
yeah. I know. I mean, like, it wouldn't be sincere. Like, my opinions on fleshlights are well documented. They're fucking gross. They're gross. Weird. They're weird and gross. Oh. The mechanics of cleaning them is not right.
No.
It's like you're in the bathroom. You're like, oh, look, that's my semen. Oh, lovely. Like, no, nobody wants that. You think about it before you buy them, people. Until someone finds a way to make them self-cleaning. You know? But that's why we want sex robots, because they'll go take a shower afterwards. You haven't got to deal with it.
That's a good point. That is a very good point.
Yeah. Like a little fleshlight with legs. Scutters away when you're done.
What? No torso, just like fleshlight with
turns
legs.
into a spider and just runs off. Oh my god, that's nightmare fuel. My brain's now giving me visions of spiders hatching from a fleshlight. No, it's not. Oh my god, I bet you could Google that. I bet someone's done that.
No. Oh god. Okay.
I'm not Googling that. I do not want to think about that. But you're literally gonna have that in your Google history, aren't you?
Yeah, no, I'm gonna search that. No, that's a good point. I'll be on a list.
You're already on a list. You're in Linux.
Fair enough. Yeah.
So yeah, this is a good place to end it. You're right.
Yes.
In fact, we've already gone too far. We should not talk about fleshlights on people's podcasts. That's what one of the things Drew told me before I do guest spots on people's podcasts is like, don't talk about cum.
No, but it's fine. My podcast it doesn't matter.
So before anyone goes, you can get my podcast over on YouTube, which is Trendy Talk, which is where me and my two buddies just talk about shit with no topic, unorganized, and no time limit and no schedule. And what's really annoying is I put zero effort in, and it's the most popular thing on my channel by a fucking landslide, which is like, why do I bother? You know? So yeah, you can do that.
Yeah, that's rough. That's how I feel about a lot of the stuff I upload. It's just like, oh yeah, I put fucking no effort in this video. Like, I'll do a video on like the Freenode debacle, and it's just like, oh, this is just me yelling at how Andrew Lee's absolutely insane, and it just does really well.
People traded one consolidated server that's owned by an individual for another one that's owned. Like, it's just highlighting things wrong with IRC, right? Like, it's just highlighted what, like, the problem with IRC is, like, that server can just be bought by someone. Like, maybe we should have decentralized services.
Maybe we should use Matrix.
No, Matrix is a bag of shit, man. I like some serious things, mate. Like, Matrix is awful. It's so complicated. It doesn't, like, there's so many things it does badly, and people keep defending it because they want it to be a thing.
Sure.
It's like, look, it's just not very good. It's just like, it's so heavy to run. You can't self-host Matrix. You can, but like, it's a nightmare to self-host Matrix. You need a whole computer for that.
Someone got it running on a what was a Raspberry Pi 4? You can do it.
Raspberry Pi 4 is more powerful than my PC was a few years ago. They've got 8 gig of RAM and a quad core. They're not. It's not like we're talking about a little ditty Raspberry Pi.
No.
They need water cooling. not a thing. And also, it's all very well setting your Matrix server up with about 5 users. Come back when you got 400.
Oh yeah, don't do that. No, you need like a $100 VPS for that one.
Yeah, I know. Like it's not. This is the problem with Matrix. It's just not viable for most people. Same problem with like my like if you go to social.hexdsl.co.uk, Pleroma. Not because I love Pleroma, but because if you looked at how much resources Mastodon takes to run, it's ludicrous. Like I'd be writing off an entire VPN to run Mastodon. Like whereas like my current VPN runs Owncast, Pleroma, VS Code. It runs like a bunch of things for like $10 a month. Where if I wanted to run Pleroma, I'd be spending $15 a month.
Oh, you mean Mastodon?
For that. Mastodon, sorry, yeah. Where Pleroma's at least got a reasonable size for individuals. But even then, like Pleroma's designed to be multi-user.
Yeah.
I want someone to design a version of Mastodon/Pleroma that's literally designed for the individual to host. And we don't have that anywhere, which is a shame. Because single-user Mastodon would be really good, right?
Yeah.
Like, make it a single user, then just federate with like global or something, or just pick a few servers to federate with. That'd be fine.
That's how a lot of people end up using it anyway. It just
but like the system's not designed that. It's like you've got to run an entire fucking MariaDB database for Mastodon.
Well, like, DT's got a public Mastodon instance. I have no idea how much he's paying for that one.
Yeah, I think as though, especially when I move towards self-hosting stuff, I don't want even people I know, like I want my shit to be my own shit.
Yeah.
Like I'd rather have all my own shit and not deal with anyone else's services, because it's all very well DTM the public Mastodon server, right? What happens when it gets bored of paying for it? It's just gone.
Yeah.
You know? Whereas if I've got my own Pleroma, it's not perfect, but it's there forever. It's there, not going anywhere.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah.
Anyway, didn't we end this podcast? Goodbye.
My things, yes. Things. Wait, I'll close my topics. Let me bring it up. Where's my my Patreon people? Yes. Special thank you to Joachim, Donald, Logan, Michael, Andrew, Nathan, David, Will, Mitchell, Carl, Brennan, Chico Mentor, Jamie, Josh, Peter Lee, Stephen T. Through, Tony Shah, and the $2 guys. The audio version of this podcast is available over anywhere. You can find it. Just look up Take Off a Tea. You'll find it.
Is it on Gemini?
No, it's not on Gemini.
What podcast on Gemini?
I guess you could. Well, you can deploy binaries on Gemini. It's just not a good idea. I could have like a Gemini page that links to the things. That could work. Anyway, the videos are on YouTube and Odyssey, and I think actually that's just it.
BitChute. Everything's on BitChute.
It's not BitChute. I'm too lazy. BitChute. Okay, I would put it on BitChute if BitChute's auto uploader actually worked.
Oh, you can. Back when BitChute first started, you could send them an email and they'd permanently link your channel. That's what I do.
Okay, maybe I should do that. Maybe I'll see if they respond.
BitChute's just filled with fascism. Just not even worth looking at. It's just filled with fascisms. Like, yeah.
Yeah, it's a fun place.
That's right.
Yeah, the reason why BitChute doesn't succeed is because their homepage is fucking trash. There's good content on the website, like, HexDSL's there.
There is, but that's in a sea of Nazis.
Yeah, not like haha, this person like guy. Not like haha, this person like is a bit right wing. No, like actual Nazis are on there.
Yeah, actual Nazis. Like, and because I'm a bald white guy, people assume I'm a white supremacist anyway. So, like, I just fit right in, and I'm not happy about that. I like, if it wasn't for the fact that like it's more hassle to get them to stop uploading my videos, I'd probably just be off there. But I'm like,
yeah, fair enough.
No.
I think you can shut down your account, but
I just can't be asked. I just ignore it.
Fair enough.
Sometimes I get an email from someone who watches my content on BitChute. They're all like, "I like it, but you've not really got the message in there." I'm like, no, no. It's like block. Just no. That's a true story. I've literally had that email.
I've gotten a couple of comments on BitChute. The most memorable one is someone accusing me of being a Jew. So that's just BitChute in a nutshell. It's like, okay.
See, the phrase "being a Jew," like that. No. Like, I'm sure if Brodie was Jewish, he'd go, yeah. Like, yeah, that'd be the whole conversation, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Anyway, this is getting derailed very quickly.
Bye.
We're gonna end this. Bye. I'm gonna go to sleep.